In 1978, DC Comics, desperate to stop the juggernaut Marvel Comics had become and retake their position as the dominant publisher in comics, gambled it all on what they called the DC Explosion, a publishing initiative that would see DC debut a wealth of new titles, increase the price of comics, and widen their scope to publish stories with newer, more diverse characters. This strategy failed catastrophically, leading to what would become known as the DC Implosion. What caused the DC Implosion? It's been attributed to everything from poor ideas from editorial to good ideas from editorial that came too soon, price increases, one of the worst blizzards in the history of the United States, a paper shortage, panicked executives, a film delay, and just plain old bad books. It's a whodunit's worth of possibilities, but by the end of this series, you'll understand how each of those things contributed to one of DC's darkest hours. You'll also learn about arguably the most important woman ever in comics, who shaped the future of the industry with her actions and saved DC Comics. This is the history of the DC Comics Explosion, Part 1, Before the Explosion.
All of those things you listed, you could have said that exact list without all of the pretense. It sounded like it could have happened. You could have been talking about last year.
Like a year after New 52 even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking of.
So I love that you said that, Kale. I love that those are the first words not spoken by me, because that is a heavy, heavy theme of this deep dive that we're going to do. And it's a big part of why I chose this topic, because the cyclical nature of the problems in comics is remarkable, and it's never been clearer to me than since I've been doing research for this subject matter. Hello, everyone watching us live. Hello, everyone not watching us or listening to us live. Welcome. Thank you for joining. If you're a fan of comics and you understand the industry, which you come to know just by, being into it for a while, you know that there are certain problems and certain things that come up over and over again. And when I first started researching what we would do after Twilight of the Superheroes, a lot of people recommended the DC Explosion. And I didn't know why. I didn't know what it was. And now that I've learned, I can see how incredibly predictive of the future the events of just really a few, most people say a few short months, but I go back to, most people think it all started in 78, but our story is starting in 76, because I think that's an important year in DC's history. I think it's an important year in comics, and we're going to talk about why. But the problems that DC had in 76 are the same problems it has in 2023. It's actually incredible. So this is what we're going to be tackling for the next few weeks. Go ahead.
When you announced the DC Explosion, I was like, "Yo, did I miss a terrorist attack again?" Like, Jesus Christ, what happened?
That's why I included DC Comics.
Okay, well, you know what? I have selective hearing.
Because if you type DC Explosion without comics, it's something very different. So, as we get into this, I want to shout out the book, Comic Book Implosion, an oral history of DC Comics circa 1978 by Keith Dallas and John Wells, and 13thdimension.com, because they did great work serializing the book. This is a book that is out of print, but it is available digitally. It's a great book, and if you're curious about this subject matter, frankly, you're probably going to get most of what you need to get out of the subject from this. But if you want more, you can read the book, and it does have a lot of great interviews and things like that. Some of which we'll be referencing, most of which we're getting just from, people love to talk back then. So there's a lot of material for us to dive into. But it's a fascinating time in DC. Classic Ulysses says 1978. That's when Superman the movie came out. Why? Thank you for bringing that up. You'll hear about that again very soon.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so our story starts with Marvel. Because by 1976, which is considered to be still in the mix of the Bronze Age, Marvel had already overtaken DC in market share. Marvel had a sell-through rate of 70% to DC's 50%. Now, for those of you not sure what a sell-through rate is, that is what it references is the amount of, in this case, comics, but in general, merchandise that is sold to actual consumers.
Sure. So that's comic shops buying it, and 70% of the things they bought actually were purchased. Is that right?
So, in this case, comic book shops are still relatively
Sure. Newsstands.
and they have a different system. So when we are talking about sell-through in this case, we're mostly talking about everything else. Places with returnability. And I'll speak more to that a little bit later, but just so you guys know, returnability didn't exist. Newsstands, grocery stores, all that, they mix, and whatever they got, returnability was all that existed. My apologies. They got what they got, and if they didn't sell it, they sent it back. So what I'm saying is that with a 50% sell-through rate, DC was barely making money because 50% of the books that they were shipping were getting sent back to them. Whereas Marvel was selling through 70% of their books. So Marvel was kicking DC's ass. And DC was trying to figure out why and what to do about it. And they had all kinds of wonky ideas about the reason. They thought it was because of the use of the color red that Marvel was doing tremendously. They had wild ideas about why Marvel was doing so well. And it's funny because Stan Lee actually had fun with that. He thought that that was a very funny idea. And so he would do things in the books that would counter whatever he heard DC thought was really the reason why Marvel was doing so well. He would do something different just to fuck with them.
Amazing.
And it's not really a rivalry. Like it's a spirited rivalry. It's not a war.
Both these places, both their headquarters were in New York at the time, right? So they would have lunch with each other, you know?
The workers and everybody. Go ahead.
Yeah, this would have been back in the days of the baseball games.
Yeah. The relationship was definitely a lot warmer, I guess you could say, than it would become. A few years later, we got Batman versus Hulk in 1981. So this is around the time where they were happy to do business with each other.
I did not know Batman versus Hulk was a thing. That is good to know.
That's one of the many things that I learned throughout this process. DC's books hadn't been connecting the way Marvel's were. Marvel skewed older, and they were bolder. They were the ones that broke the comics code several times. But by introducing a drug storyline with Harry Osborn, they broke the comics code. And then the comics code changed to accommodate Marvel storytelling, because if they didn't do that, then the code would be null and void and no one else would follow it. And then DC did their drug storyline in Green Arrow, I think it was.
Speedy,
yes.
Speedy doing Speedy.
Yep. So DC needed to do something different. DC needed to try something else. They decided that they would publish more books because they thought that that was one of the factors to Marvel's big success, would be publishing even more comics. But they ultimately hired Jeanette Kahn.
Yes, I knew it. Okay, cool.
Look at Marco, who became publisher of DC on February 2nd, 1976, at 28 years old. if you can believe that.
What? That is wild.
I've
Yeah.
wasted my life.
Should have gotten to editing.
She was notable at the time for having launched 2 publications prior, Kids and Dynamite. She came into the role of publisher swinging and punching right up because her first battle was actually against the top heads of Warner Brothers, who wanted to license the rights to publish stories featuring DC's characters away and fold the publishing division and only do reprints.
What? That's fucking wild.
We have talked about the exact same idea this year. This year. That was a real fear that we had, and frankly, I still have, when the deal with Discovery went down. That they might not see the value in publishing weekly comics. So even as far back as 1976, Jeanette Kahn steps into the role and immediately has to fight for DC's existence. So that's the climate we're in. DC's overlords don't think that DC is worth the money. But there is something coming that might make them think differently, which, of course, is Superman the movie. So everybody's holding on to the idea of Superman the movie changing the game. But Jeanette Kahn is not happy to wait because she has ideas of her own. So I'm going to refer to her for the first time here. And we're going to do that a lot because Jeanette Kahn is a person that a lot of people don't know of, but they should. And you're going to understand why as we get through this process. So this is an interview with Jeanette, who was then DC Comics publisher. She did an interview in back issue number 57 in July of 2012. Bill, this is a quote from her. Bill, her boss at the time, said, "We have 4 decades worth of comics, hundreds of titles, and we're thinking we should reprint them since those comics lose money, and we make all our profits through merchandise and media." And she said, quote, "That's a really terrible idea." I said, "Oh, the chutzpah of youth. It's the ongoing exploits and new adventures of the characters that are the lifeblood of the company and make licensing and media possible. If you don't publish new stories, the characters will have a radioactive half-life, and eventually all the media and merchandise will disappear." Isn't it funny that somebody who just stepped into the position at 28 years old understood that in 1976? People today don't get it.
Yes. I would be curious, and this might just be me thinking too worldly, but like that's the European model for Tintin and Asterix. And they sell insane numbers in the millions every year. So I would be curious to know like if any like research had been done for that stuff over there. I can't imagine. But
if modern comic books and not learning anything from manga is they're not looking elsewhere, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, that is an interesting point. I highly doubt it. I think they were looking at the bottom line and saying, these books, we're getting our asses kicked by the new upstart. Like, what are we doing wrong?
Yeah.
And I think that was the climate at DC, was trying to solve the problem and stop the bleeding. And, you know, Jeanette, she grew up reading DC Comics. So to her, and not just DC Comics, she grew up reading a lot of other comics. Because, of course, we're talking about a time where there was a lot of stuff out there. And one of the things that I've been so fascinated by is the diverse publishing line that DC especially, but also even Marvel had. But we'll refer back to that. Jeanette believed that comics could be better. She thought that DC had the potential to tell the best stories in comics. And she thought that they could do that with a higher quality of storytelling, better paper stock, longer stories in the actual floppies themselves, and etc. Now I'm going to read a quote from another magazine that Jeanette that Jeanette spoke to, or rather, this was actually from the books themselves. This was the first time that comic book readers from DC heard directly from Jeanette Kahn in December of '76. And so this is what she said. It's a funny, cute little message. When you've got just one comic and a lot of time to kill, what is the only thing you can do? Right, read the comic again. But supposing you've read it, not just twice, but 3 times, decided who wrote the jerkiest letter on the letters page, and spent at least 3 minutes wondering if those X-ray specs really work, and if so, why haven't you sent them away already? What then? Well, in desperation, you might turn again to the beginning and read the old familiar names in tiny type at the bottom of page 1. Sol Harrison, Jack Adler. Yep, it's the same old DC. But wait, wasn't Sol vice president before? It says president now. And Jack's vice president. And Joe Orlando's not just an editor. He's a managing editor. And Vince Coletta's art director. And Paul Levitz is some impressive sounding thing called editorial coordinator. Even a dingbat of modest intelligence can tell some kind of change is going on. A more astute dingbat might notice something else. One of the old familiar names is nowhere to be found. And there, in its place, is a new name, never before seen in comics. Jeanette Kahn. All signs seem to indicate that an unknown person of presumably female persuasion has become publisher of DC. The inevitable questions arise. Who is she anyway? Does she have the necessary qualifications to be the publisher of the largest comic company in the world? Can she type? Yes, I can. 10 words a minute using 2 fingers. I also started 3 magazines, which, strange to say, you might well be hoarding right next to your most prized comics. I'm going to stop there because you can get an impression of who Jeanette is with what I just read. Sassy, spunky, and ready to take on the world.
Kind of no bullshit. Realizes she's getting into a boys' club. And is curbing that shit at the door.
And she's ready.
Yeah.
Damn,
she's ready.
She came on with fucking boxing gloves.
Yep. Because she knew the climate and the environment that she would be jumping into. And Jeanette is... Go ahead, Kill.
I was going to say, was this lady still alive when Heather Antos went through the milkshake bullshit?
She's alive now.
Oh, I hope she gave Heather a call.
By the way, if you guys are enjoying this presentation so far, please do hit that like button if you're so inclined. Thank you, everybody that's joining. I see the chat between me referring to my script, so thank you all. Glad to see Dan and Atomic Hound here, especially because you guys are of the age where you've probably read some of this stuff, and you probably can speak to some of this stuff. So
outing them.
Well, I'd be proud, man. I really the more I dig into this old stuff, the more I wish that I had been around. And I think it's cool that there were people that that are still here that can speak to all this.
Yeah,
still here.
Comic book history is very fun, and there's a lot of good books about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So she quickly found an ally in Paul Levitz. A man who, of course, would go on to become president of DC and have a legendary career in his own right, but here was only 21 years old, if you can believe that. So we're talking about a very fresh-faced Paul Levitz.
Sean, do you mind if we just got a super chat from Joel? I just wanted to read it real quick.
Yes, please.
Joel said, I just wanted to say good morning. You guys are awesome. This is for the research that you had to do for the topic. So,
thank you so much, Joel. I really, really appreciate that. Good morning to you, and I hope that you enjoy this presentation. You guys make this possible, so I really appreciate that. That's so cool of you to do. So both of them saw the dire state of comics and were desperate to save the medium, swiftly making changes that immediately improved business and morale. One of those was the introduction of the Dollar Comics Initiative.
Almost feels like Walmart comics. You know what I mean? Like,
the parallels are literally everywhere.
Yeah,
they're all over the map. And I thought the Dollar Comics thing was so funny because, like, now that would obviously be 99 cents, right? Like, it would not be $1.
Sure, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be close.
Off the dollar cart.
We'd be lucky if we're getting a $2 comic.
But like,
Yeah.
like it wouldn't be the round number. Like comics
Sure,
are
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
$5
Oh,
or $4.99. You know,
It'd be $2.99 right now.
Yeah.
Drawing the
cheapest
line
you
at
get it.
$0.99. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
the first $4 comics. So the first 4 comics that were $1 from DC were the Superman Family, House of Mystery, World's Finest, and GI Combat, as announced by Mike Tiefenbacher in the Comic Reader 136 from October 1976. Tiefenbacher was the executive editor of the Comic Reader at the time, a freelance writer and a comics historian.
Tom
so-
Account says the first dollar comic he bought was World's Finest. So
There you go.
Whoa, that's awesome.
There you go. So this is what Tiefenbacher wrote. Beginning December, 4 titles, the Superman Family, House of Mystery, World's Finest, and GI Combat, will cost $1, will be 80-page giants. Before, right? Even that language. Before mathematicians start figuring out comparative costs with former 80-pagers, we will mention that these books will contain 66 pages of new material, roughly 4 times the material contained in a 30-cent book. What these books will resemble, for the most part, are Golden Age titles, i.e., they will return to multi-character books to the stands. So, Jeanette Kahn hated reprints. She did not like the concept of reprints. She thought that reprints were bad. As I said earlier, she felt that the news stories were what people came to the table for, and that the reprints were just not worth doing. But
sense.
yeah, I mean, I completely agree. But she thought that the package that comics were presented in at the time just didn't work. So something had to change. This is the origin of the dollar comic. So this interview that I'm about to read from now is from Comic Media News number 29. And isn't it crazy how many different
yeah,
publications there
before
are? just
Wizard
about
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have one question before we get into that.
Yeah.
Comics, normal comics, they were 30 cents. You said. So
These-
like in my
yeah.
head, $1 comics like, oh, that's cheap, but these are oversized, almost thrice the amount of a normal comic.
Yes.
Okay.
And
The Jokers of their time. Got it.
yes. And they don't have reprints in them, which they normally would have.
Gotcha. Okay.
Normally, you would have gotten a book like this, and it would have been half
All old stories.
Yeah, half old stories, half new, something like that.
Cool.
So this is the quote from Jeanette. This is from January or February of 97, or 97, Jesus. 20 years earlier, 77. Quote, the current package is absolutely untenable. 17 pages and reprints and a 30-cent cover price. There's no place to go, really. And yet, there was a time when you paid 10 cents for a comic book and 10 cents for a Time magazine. The trouble was that we didn't keep up with the rest of the industry in price rises. 20 years passed before we dared to make the great leap to 12 cents. Then we tried 15, then 20, then 25, and now 30 cents. But still, all that is too low. Time magazine is now $1. We should be $1. And that's where we're headed. It's a major experiment, but I think it's the answer, not just for us, but for Marvel, Archie, any comic book company. The dollar package is just like the Golden Age format in that we will be having 80 pages, 14 of ads, and 66 of all new material. It'll be a change for writers and artists to do stories of any length that seems appropriate to the story rather than cramming it into a meager 17 pages. It is going to give the wholesaler and retailer a chance to make money. The retailer, who for years has not wanted to carry comic books in his shop, saying, why should I? What does 50% off of 30% mean to anybody? All they do is clog up my newsstands and keep people from buying Playboy and all those other money-making magazines.
The audacity of hearing that versus hold the line at $3.99 or whatever.
$2.99, yeah.
And like we're paying $8 a pop now for 30 pages, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
Unreal.
the experiment just never ended.
Unreal. And what I'm struck by is that this is such an incredibly raw and honest interview.
Yeah.
We would
Yeah.
never hear a Marvel or DC employee speak that way now. This just wouldn't happen. No way. And it's amazing how far behind the industry already is in 77. The whole industry, forget DC. 30 cents versus $1 for Time magazine, right? And this is at a time, people don't necessarily like to admit this, but this is a major storyline that we're going to be dealing with, is the fall of the newsstand and the rise of the direct market. The newsstand industry was already turning away from comics because of exactly what Jeanette Kahn points out. They're not worth the shelf space. It's the exact same thing that Dan Didio said. You can't go to an airport, which will probably be in an interview quote later, and put a 30-cent comic on there when airports sell books and magazines and things that the airport shop owner is making real money off of. What money is there to make off a 35-cent comic? It ain't there.
I've seen comics in an airport twice in my life.
Never.
And they were
I
kids.
never have.
They were kids comics. They were Archie books.
Right.
But that makes sense, right? You want to incentivize the retailer, and I think also you're offering a better product to an end consumer. It has more pages. It has something that like one of the big things we talk about is the value versus the page cost and whether it's even worth it. Like we struggle with that a lot of the time now, but at the very least that feels like value. I can sit there and read it, and I have to, and it takes time.
Yeah, exactly. Comics felt cheap.
Mm-hmm.
They were literally cheap
Yeah.
to buy. And parents would buy them for their kids, like, hey, have this while I shop, or have this while I, get a haircut, or whatever, whatever. They weren't treated seriously enough by themselves. They were treated as disposable. The paper quality was god awful. It's a big reason why comics from even earlier than that are so sought after, because the paper quality was so bad that if you actually have a pristine copy of Superman, Action Comics, #1, if you have those early books in such great condition, that's rare because no one does. I decided to look at the sales charts as far back as I could go on Comic-Con, and it took me to 1984. The
84?
first, sorry?
1984, you said?
Yeah, 1984. The first comic that I ever read, Secret Wars, was the #1 seller every month that year. But my heart sank when I did this, because every issue of Secret Wars, except for the last one, which is issue 12, cost 75 cents. That's 7 years after DC was desperately trying to establish a dollar baseline. 7 years later, Marvel's big event, arguably the first legitimate crossover ever, was only 75 cents. That's awful. I'm going to shift over to an interview from Mike Gold, who at the time was DC's public relations representative. And he did an interview with Comic Media News number 32. This came out in August. This was the August-September edition from 77. The reason why the dollar comic books are doing so well and why we're so optimistic about them is that they're more profitable comics for the retailer to have, so that a guy who doesn't handle 35 cent or even 60-cent comics, a guy who was in an airport or a shopping center, these types of places by and large do not handle comic books because the 6 to 8 cents they make off a 35-cent comic book is not worth the hassle. But on $1, they're making good money. They're making more than on a dollar copy of Time magazine, as a matter of fact. DC was giving them 50 cents on the dollar, and Time was giving them 40 cents on the dollar.
Half? Holy shit.
The way we have it set up, the book will be on the stand for 2 months. That's the promise we make to these people. I don't think we'll change it until we have a full line of dollar books, rather than just the 3 we have scheduled at the moment. It's such a beautiful system we have now, there's no reason to jeopardize. So, Superman Family was an absolute juggernaut. This book slayed. It came out and it did gangbusters. But core fans of comics, I guess like the modern, that era's version of us, people who are well invested, that know the things, and are into it. The little bit of older crowd, the college age crowd, and up, they hated Superman Family. Because Superman Family harkened back to a bit of an older time when the stories were a little bit brighter. The cover had everybody smiling. Jeanette Kahn was able to get Neil Adams to come back. Neil Adams had left. He was unhappy with the prior management, and he came back and was doing covers again. And so things were going great. And Superman Family was leading the charge. I'm going to read a quote again from Mike Gold. The first Superman Family dollar book. I know the fans didn't like it, and I'm not going to apologize for that. The younger readers really did like it. The book was probably the most profitable in terms of bucks. Comic book to be published in maybe 5 years by anybody. It sold phenomenally well, selling at about 140,000 copies per issue. That's a real rough estimate off the top of my head, but every point above break, even on a dollar book, is 3 times more profitable than a point on a 35-cent book. And the book came in at about 12 points above break even. That's phenomenal. That's terrific. Here's why. Superman Family sold 140,000 copies per issue in 1977. In 2019, that's the last year during which comic sales figures were released publicly, no ongoing book has sold 100,000 copies or better every month. The one event series that did that was House and Powers of X, which double shipped in September and August, each issue selling over 100K.
Whoa.
Not even Batman. Not even Batman. That's the entire year of 2019.
Wait, the entirety, not a single issue of any of them had sold over that 100K?
Every month.
Within their respective month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like every time it came out, it sold 100K.
Sure. Okay.
That's absurd.
It's the numbers, baby. They're scary. They don't look good. They haven't for a while.
But what's so funny to me is that the best-selling book that DC had that was selling so much was something that fans didn't like. Core audiences didn't like.
Or older fans didn't like.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I think that's worth pointing out. And so,
and sorry,
go ahead.
To sort of go off of that, it's the same thing we're having, the same issue we're having with like Captain Underpants or Dogman or whatever the fuck. Like older fans aren't going to go for that, but you sure as shit put that in front of a kid and they're going to eat it up.
And to that point, and I'm gonna post this in the Discord. I was walking the city yesterday, and I found the theater where they're premiering the Cat Kid, which is a Dave Pilkey creation that is adapted for theater. I'm gonna put it in the general chat for anybody who's interested.
That's pretty cool. So at this time, Marvel is doing great. Marvel was appealing to older people, college age people, the more entrenched comic book fan. But they were also appealing to something else. They were appealing to the direct market. The direct market was founded in the 1970s by Phil Seuling. It was initially created by him to allow retailers to bypass distributors and make purchases directly from publishers. So if you don't know what the direct market is, this is the time to lean in. Its success is predicated on the concept of no returnability. Stores that purchase comics do so without the ability to return them if they don't sell, removing the burden of returned comics from the publishers. Traditional comics carriers like newsstands operated on a sell or return system, often causing comics publishers to lose money and be stuck with comics they have no means of selling. That's what we talked about before with DC sell-through rate of 50% to Marvel 70%. So even when returnability was a thing amongst the non-direct market retailers of comics, Marvel was kicking their ass. But when you get into the direct market, sorry?
More use of red.
Yeah, it was certainly the red. And Star Wars, it's worth pointing out, as Atomic Hound did in the chat, Star Wars comics were also awesome. The direct market allows for more risk on the part of publishers and allowed for the formation of new publishers at the time because comic shops are directly targeting their audience, and comics have virtually no competition within that space, while on newsstands they were competing with magazines. The direct market also made the culture of collecting back issues, thus allowing people to get caught up on series they would otherwise never be able to, possible. And it was created in response to the declining interest in comics at the newsstands.
Was it successful? Then it was successful in revitalizing that, yeah. Because if you're gonna have a consolidated space for the thing that you want, both on a from like a consumer and producer end. Oh, but then you box yourself. Interesting. Okay, wait, keep going.
No, what you're doing is what happened. That's history, dude. That's the history of comics. And spoilers, but we will definitely do one of these on the direct market because I'm fascinated by it.
Yo, yeah.
But saying it plainly now, the direct market, in my opinion, saved comic books. Did it doom it later? We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I feel like we're in the same situation now, except it's direct market and digital. But
ooh,
dang! Look at these analogs.
Ooh. So Marvel was playing more to the direct market. Marvel understood that this was a place where their audience already was. Why bother playing the newsstand game when you could play the direct market game? They were flooding the market, publishing a ton of books, and they were publishing books that they felt would hit their exact core audience. And in fact, jumping ahead to 81, Marvel had actually tried, I believe this was the first example of this, at least from the big two, to play directly to the direct market by publishing a Dazzler comic, which would not have succeeded on the newsstand because Dazzler. Go ahead, Tyler.
This is the one I think that also came with a record or some kind of music with it. I have it.
You have it?
I have the Dazzler comic somewhere. I have multiple Dazzler books. Little known fact.
Oh, wow.
Big Dazzler fan. I have 4 Dazzler action figures too. I love Dazzler.
Is this similar to like Daphne Byrne being the book that saves comics? Like
that was a joke. So this is the truth of it.
Okay.
Jim Shooter tried with this Dazzler book by making it the first ongoing series exclusive to the direct market, and meaning that it only sold to comic shops. and it did crazy good. 400,000 copies sold to stores. That was double the best-selling books that they had at the time. So that's just to give you an idea of what Marvel was doing at the time. DC was still years behind of finding that kind of success in the direct market.
Yeah, it looks like this was originally supposed to be published in like a super special series, but then they flopped. Yeah, I do have this. Yeah, it was
That's
after
cool.
her first appearance in Uncanny. I think she fights Galactus in this series. Yeah,
Sounds like some Squirrel Girl shit.
very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's shift back to DC because DC is winning. Not the war. They're losing the war. But they're getting better. Things are getting better. Dollar comics are really working. And so let's take a look at DC's publishing line. I was fascinated by this. So I'm looking at an image that features what DC's publishing line looked like in early 97 as we transition out of 96.
77.
So Jesus Christ. 77, thank you.
True 90s kid.
It's a long list. If you guys will indulge me, I'm going to go through it all because I think it's important.
Yes.
Action Comics, which featured Superman, backups called The Private Life of Clark Kent and The Sporting Life of Steve Lombard. I don't even know who Steve Lombard is.
What?
That feels like current action with the backups on it, and one of them is a younger Clark Kent with young Jonathan. Yeah.
Oh, true.
If I'm not mistaken, Steve Lombard, and Hound and Dan will correct me in the chat. I know Steve Lombard was a rival, I think, for Lois Lane.
Yeah.
And he was like a co-anchor of the Daily Planet's news stuff. So he would have been the Gary Oak to Clark Kent's Ash Ketchum.
That's hilarious.
Oh, he was
great backup character.
sportscaster to bounce off of Clark Kent's news reporter.
Wasn't he kind of a dick? Am I remembering that correctly?
If he's Gary Oak, then
yeah, true. Yep.
Yeah.
Adventure Comics, which starred Aquaman with Manhunter from Mars as backup feature.
Ooh.
All-Star Comics starring the Justice Society of America. Batman Family, which was a 50-cent giant starring Robin, Batgirl, and Man-Bat. Batman Family was a crazy success as well.
Man-Bat?
Yeah, Man-Bat. I don't know if it's that Man-Bat, though. I'm assuming it is, but I just wouldn't have the context. Black Lightning, The Brave and the Bold, with Batman team-ups with assorted DC heroes. DC Special, which was a 50-cent anthology title that had various people in it. DC Superstars, which was a similar concept, but it was a genre anthology, not a superhero anthology. Detective Comics, of course, which was a Batman book. The Flash, Freedom Fighters, Ghosts, Supernatural short stories. GI Combat, which was the dollar book we talked about. Green Lantern, starring the Green Lantern, Green Arrow, and Black Canary. Okay. Hercules Unbound, House of Mystery, which was the dollar book we discussed. House of Secrets, which was a supernatural short stories anthology. Isis, Jonah Hex, Justice League, Kamandi, The Last Boy on Earth, Karate Kid, Metal Men, New Gods, Our Fighting Forces, starring with backup features starring individual squad members. Plastic Man, Rag Man, Richard Dragon, Kung Fu Fighter, Secret Society of Supervillains, Secrets of the Haunted House, Sergeant Rock, Shade the Changing Man, Shazam, Starfire, Superboy, starring the Legion of Superheroes, Super Friends, Superman, Superman Family, which again was that heavy hitter, which had Supergirl, Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, Crypto, Nightwing, and Flamebird in it.
Damn.
But that's not the Nightwing.
No, those are the Kryptonian superheroes, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Superman or Super Team Family, which was a 50-cent giant that featured the Challengers of the Unknown and the Doom Patrol reprints. Teen Titans, Unexpected, which was Supernatural Stories, Unknown Soldier, Warlord, Weird War Tales, Weird Western Tales, Welcome Back, Cotter, which was one of laughing at that, which
That's
is one
great.
of several DC TV books, which was an initiative that Jeanette Kahn tried before Dollar Comics that actually failed.
What artist was drawing John Travolta in that?
Yeah, they started with Welcome Back, Cotter. I can't imagine why that failed.
But yeah,
Huge show though.
Sure.
burned out, but yeah. Witching Hour, which was Supernatural Short Stories, Wonder Woman, World's Finest Comics, which was the dollar book that featured Superman, Batman, Green Arrow, Black Canary, the Vigilante, and Wonder Woman, and Young Love.
Comics, I wish I was alive in the 70s. That's incredible.
Honestly, like,
Ragman ongoing, fuck.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Warlord
They had
ongoing.
Shade over there earlier.
Yeah. The
Just quickly, the Green Lantern book you mentioned that was co-starred Green Arrow, Black Canary, that would have been the Hard Traveling Heroes
Yep.
arc,
Oh,
which is where the drug issue happens with Speedy, but is a seminal it's Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil.
well, goddamn, Kale, I'm glad you're here, dude.
As you're saying all this, I'm actually really surprised at how much I already know.
dude, a lot of these books were good in in retrospect, we can look back at these
Yeah.
like, oh, these are like seminal runs for a lot of these things.
Comic Boom says, I have high grade Superman family comics, hard to find in 9.8. That is so cool.
What?
Hell yeah.
If you would be so kind as to take a picture, if you have like physical access, and send it our way, I would love that. I would love that. That's really cool. Now, if you zoned out as I was listing all those books, or you felt you needed to skip ahead, that's okay. I understand. I have the breakdown for you. So 4 of the titles explicitly included the word war. 8 of the books are about war or soldiers that don't include the word war in their title. 8 of the books are supernatural or horror books. 1 of them is a supernatural war crossover book. There's 2 karate books, like martial art books, and 24 superhero comics. So a much more diverse line. And you even had Young Love, which, was, to my knowledge, a very popular book.
Probably would have been the dying embers of romance in mainstream comics anyway.
And the interesting thing is that, you can see this just if you look at the list of books that I said. DC has said, okay, well, maybe romance books as like a genre unto itself is going the way of the dodo, but we can infuse romance into our superhero books.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
I wonder if that's where you get like the long-haired Clark Kent, Fabio covers, hair blowing in the wind with his cape, and the Lois with her blouse open, draped over him.
Yeah, I think so. And one of the draws, I hope I'm remembering this correctly, but one of the draws was, again, the fact that they had those incredible covers. You had covers from Romita at the time, and Neil Adams, I believe. He brought a lot of people's interest to these books. So yeah, incredibly diverse publishing line, and it would get more diverse because, emboldened by the success of the Dollar Comics initiative, Jeanette Kahn and her team decided to gamble again, this time with a line-wide change that would see the page count and price of their non-Dollar Comics rise. DC also had an ace in the hole by the name of Superman the movie.
Ooh, hello.
Slated for release in June of 1978, it would launch right in time for Superman's 50th anniversary and reinvigorate people's love for comics, saving DC.
Wow.
What Jeanette?
What a nice ending to this story.
Yeah,
All
that's
right, let's
great.
get on with the news.
Yeah, that was awesome. Sean, I thank you for taking us on this journey. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. What Jeanette, Paul Levitz, and the rest didn't know is that not even Superman could save them from their fate, which was well sealed by June of 78, because winter was coming. A bitter, brutal winter that brought the blizzard of 77.
Oh no.
And that is where we will end the first part of the history of the DC Comics Implosion.
But then you gotta make it a little dramatic, and then the camera pans out, and who is there standing amidst the snow?
Stanley.
Freeze. Oh,
Oh.
No.
So we'll do this every week until we're done. Probably about 3 more weeks of this.
This would have been. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to relate to Marco here and get into Marco's mindset. This initiative would have been where Swamp Thing first appeared, right?
no,
No.
Swamp Thing's from the 40s, isn't he?
no, 72, 71.
So House of. Okay. So not this House of Secrets. Okay.
Yeah. House of Secret 92.
I did find my first Dazzler though. So
Oh, that's so cool.
Yo.
Oh yeah.
great cover.
Yeah, I have the one where Magneto's like cuffed. One of the early trials.
Hucked.
Cuffed.
I bet.
Tail.
So where are you guys at? How did you feel about that? Are you on the hook? What do you think?
Yeah, this rules.
What I feel about this is that like once you listed all the titles, like I miss those genre books. You know.
Yeah.
Like even on the cover I have for the DC Explosion, I have the image up. Like it's Superman, it's Black Canary, it's Wonder Woman, it's Batman. But then behind him is Jonah Hex, I think Cain or Abel from the House books,
Both of them
and
were-
Sergeant Rock.
what-
Like
Yeah.
they're on the same tier as Superman and Batman, which is bonkers to me. Because you're lucky
Well-
to get a cameo from these guys in any book.
House of Secrets and House of Mystery were both like pretty well known,
Yeah.
like and popular horror anthology titles. And yeah, you got a lot of characters come out of that. So like
But
that
you just-
that.
The
but
Big
to
Two
your
just doesn't
point-
do that anymore, you know. Like
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
we have to
have
get
an
our silver
anthology.
coins, our swan songs, you know.
And those have been doing really well, which is interesting as to like why, some publishers haven't gotten or aren't taking that opportunity to be like, oh, this is something that's working. Like the DC horror line initiative they did like a year or two that they started. Like that's been really successful. I think the books have all been quality. Whether or not they continue, that I think you need to focus your things. It becomes very genre specific, which feels reminiscent to the way that manga segments their stuff now. Like,
Yeah.
you're
I just feel
doing it
that
by
the genre
category.
stuff is less farmable.
But it's
So-
categorical.
Sure.
It can become that, I think.
Dan Trudeau has the answer. As typical, he is Dan the true Trudeau.
It's the
As
truth,
always.
man.
Those books sold on the newsstand, but not the direct market. And that's the problem. So, as the direct market became more vital, they were able to target their core audience more, and their core audience wanted more superhero comics. So they stopped diversifying and they cut the line more and more. And you're going to hear why. The explosion implosion is a major reason why. When I tell you what DC's publishing line was like in 78 versus 77, you'll understand.
So curious.
This is a pivotal time. I'm surprised people don't talk about this more. This is an incredibly exciting time in comics, and it really shaped the next decade and, frankly, the decades to come. This is where it all started. I mean, I'm sure it didn't. Eventually, I'll look at the 60s, and I'll say the same shit, right? But this is, a lot of the stuff that we think about and talk about today was happening then.
And Sean, you and I are Marvel heads. I think proclaimed. So this is news to me. Like I mean, I've known about it tangentially just from like my knowledge of Marvel. This kind of going on in the background, but like, yeah, this is fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So we'll be back with that next week. We're not done. The show's not done, but we will do the next
Casey, bye.
presentation next week. If you enjoyed that, definitely leave a like on the video. If we hit our likes goal, which right now we're at 17, so I'm not going to do 20. That would be too easy for you all. Let's do 25. If we hit the likes goal of 25, we will do a draft later.
Low game.
And we will draft a team of Marvel copycat characters.
Oh, just Marvel. Oops, my image is already broken.
Yup, just Marvel.
Yeah.
And
Copycat characters?
I'll explain all about it later. If we hit the likes goal, which I'm sure we will because you guys are good at this.
It's already at 19.
Yeah, thank you. You guys listen. Top lane, amazing work, Sean. Really liked it. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I love to do this, put a lot of work into it. So thank you. If you want to support the Comics Pals, if you enjoy what we do here, there are plenty of ways for you to do that, aside from the like. Patreon.com/the Comics Pals is the most direct way. We appreciate everybody that does that. You get a lot of bang for your buck. Of course, we love to give you bang for your buck. There's a lot of content on there that you might not have ever seen if you're not on our Patreon page, including an exclusive show called Palling Around, where we talk about whatever we want to talk about, shoot the breeze, just have a good time. A newsletter that we put out every week, one from each of us. You get to vote in the book club poll, which is up now, and it should be ending on Monday, I think. It's all Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips this month.
Let's go.
Which we thought was kind of cool. So if you are eligible, hopefully you have voted. If you haven't, this is your reminder to do so.
Yep, as my friend P. Diddy once said, rock the vote.
As my friend Hillary Clinton once said, Pokemon go to the polls.
She did.
As my friend Hillary Clinton once said, I got hot sauce in my bag. As of now, Kale is winning the book club poll with Pulp.
Woo! Let's go,
In
Kale.
a landslide. It would take.
Killing me.
Yeah, I don't even know how this could change.
Making Kale
Gonna
do
have to-
work.
I will
have to-
say the one I picked is their take on Archie comics. I'm just saying.
And I will say that the other one is also another Brubaker Phillips book, so you can't go wrong.
That's true. That is true. If you want to watch this show live, you can do that every single Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern, Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern for Pals Pulls. That is our weekly show where we review comics. Tyler, are you okay?
No, I just got texted saying that it's vote or die, not rock the vote. I got P. Diddy's thing wrong.
Whoops.
Damn.
Pop culture.
I'm
Film.
sorry.
Dude,
Diddy texted me
Etho.
himself. I think it was MTV that had rocked the boat. Never mind.
Oh boy. Join our Discord server. Come hang out with us on our Discord. We're always having a lot of fun there. We're gonna refer back to that in a few minutes. And our Tokyo Ghost book club is out. That was
Yeah.
great. We had a good time with that. Check it out. If you have read it, if you haven't read it, and you want to hear us talk about a really great story by two creators in Rick Remender and Sean Gordon Murphy, who are at a very interesting point in their careers. Check that out.
And
And everything else-
thank you to Bryant Wilson for the sub on YouTube.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Everything else at the Comics Pals. We've got a lot more show for you. We're not even close to being done. Killed an hour. I love it.
Ooh, just need one more like to hit the goal too.
I should have said it higher, but
Shit is
these
30, bro.
You can't
Yeah,
you can't go back on it.
I do want to say thank you before we move forward to the incredible pals that we have on our Patreon page. A special shout out to the best pals in the universe, Thunderstruck, Rebecca Alejandro, and the Hound of Justice, Atomic Hound. And of course, thank you to the Night Stalker, Harris Najinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Kefis the Incorruptible, Momentum Mike Elliott, Starcross Catherine Stars, Dan the Truth Trudeau, Joel Justice, Jalen the Sanguine Sorcerer, Neon Knight the Cosmic Avenger, and Super Shenran the Conqueror. Thank you all so much. You are absolutely beautiful, and we love you.
That's 2 hands to count. Get 2 high fives.
Feels good. Feels good. We're almost at our goal on Patreon, in fact, of 20 patrons, I think. So
Yo.
if you want to help us reach our goal of 20, then you know where to go.
Then we'll bang you for $1.
Wait,
Whoa! 3
What?
weeks.
Well, inflation.
Bro.
We got some listener comments to tackle. So Tyler, why don't you take it away?
Oh yeah. Oh god, I have so many windows open with TikTok and the friggin' YouTube.
You want me to get it?
I got it.
I also can get it.
Yeah, I can
Alright.
get it too.
I got it. Here I am. All right. So listener comments. Some guy named Atomic said on the Tokyo Ghost Book Club, loved this video and how the discussion weaves between the story and art forms and the larger meta aspects of the story. A multi-layered discussion about a multi-layered book, appropriate and appreciated.
Thank you so much. That is very kind.
Our discussions are like onions, you know.
They make
Little
us cry.
Face.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Hellspawn,
You owe me
05.
Popeyes.
Oh damn! Yo, you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Damn, that shit was my best work.
I agree.
Yeah, okay. Hellspawn 5 on Tokyo Ghost Book Club. Great discussion on an awesome series. A lot of the themes touched on in the book, and your discussion spoke to me that you can really talk about this for a long while. Keep up the awesome work, and for a recommendation, I'll say the horror series Green Wake. Green Wake.
I haven't heard of that.
I've heard of The
Never
Wake.
heard of that.
I want to check it out now.
Mm,
Hellspawn, a long-time listener. Thank you.
Yeah. That's a name I haven't heard of in an age.
And do you know, Kale, how we acquired this listener? It's in the name.
In a divorce?
Right. I mean, sorta.
The Spawn reviews that we used to do.
Right.
That we no longer are allowed to do.
There's a J.H. Williams cover coming out, so I'm just saying, if they get him on interiors, whoever put that, the kibosh on the Spawn reviews might be a little more lenient.
Well,
Whatever.
And I just googled Green Wake. Riley Rosmo on art.
Oh.
Curtis J. Weeb on
Oh, Curtis Weeb. Okay, yeah.
Rat Queens writer.
Oh, isn't he a
Oh, isn't that bad?
No.
yeah.
No,
Isn't he a
It was,
felon for
was it the artist?
No, it was the artist. There
Yeah,
was a
okay.
domestic issue,
Yeah.
but he's back on Rat
More than
Queens for the final issue coming out in like a month. So
the book is
see
still
on Pals
going?
Polls.
Yeah,
It is
still going.
very infrequent.
We will not be reviewing that on Pals.
Rock Church.
Up Rock Church. Yep, Rock Up Church. Sorry.
Rock
yeah.
Up Church. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Weeb was kind of just
An unfortunate bystander.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know the full story, but yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to say thank you for all the complimentary words on the presentation. You guys are fantastic. Comic Boom says, I love how you guys choose to stay positive about comics, unlike other YouTubers who are riddled with relentless negativity. Thank you for all your hard work and discussions. Comic Boom, thank you. That is an incredibly kind thing to say. I really appreciate it. I think all of us have a very similar mentality when we look at comics. I think we're all genuine lovers, not to say that anyone else isn't, but speaking for me, I'd rather approach it with like a positive
Yeah.
outlook, or at least like a non-skewed one, because sometimes you just can't be positive about something. But
I have depression. I don't need to be, negative in the things I enjoy. Come on.
Well, unfortunately, I am riddled with relentless negativity. There's nothing we can do
You
about
gotta
it.
even it out. Yeah.
It takes the three of us to balance out Kale.
Yeah.
Like you gotta weigh those things.
I'm the diversity hire.
wow.
Oh, affirmative action doesn't exist anymore. So
Well,
Uh-oh.
speaking of shocking statements, Tyler, why don't you read the next comment we got?
Oh, sorry. I noticed one of my books wasn't bagged and boarded, and I have ADHD, so I was.
Can I do this one? Can I do this one?
Marco, you do it.
All right, this one's from Manny on Discord. Do the big two need a motivation for a direction? Like, say, 9/11 helped push the narrative in early 2000s, which defined that era. Not to say we need another 9/11, but motivation to have a through line or a stance on position. I don't think or can recall that happened recently. Like, I think there are constant messages against conservatism or systemic issues, but I find all that to be flat, stale, surface level, no game changing dialogue. Could it be editorial?
All right, I watch Hassan Piker streams. I know we should not say that we need another 9/11 or we deserved it, so I'm not gonna touch that part of it.
As he touches it.
Yeah,
I'ma
as
touch
it's the as it's the first thing he brings up.
As he strokes it, just like
Oop.
I first of all, yeah, that's absolutely wild. I guess, yeah, I guess you could say that, 9/11
For sure.
changed comics. It changed all forms of media, I think, at least in terms of how people were discussing things.
it broke Frank Miller.
Yeah, it changed the whole
World
world.
country music.
But you're asking, you're asking why don't we have why don't we have a direction? I think we do have a direction. I think that if you're talking about the way that like the outside world influences comics, I think it's there.
Yeah.
Comics are very liberal on the writing end. The writers will do as much liberal leaning stuff as they're allowed to do. And that's cool. Unfortunately, that doesn't appeal to everybody. And so I think on the editorial end, on the executive end, their responsibility at times is probably to curtail some of that. We know that the Luke Cage City on Fire book was canceled. And people have different beliefs as to why. I have a pretty specific belief that it was canceled because they didn't want the heat that Hoche Anderson was about to bring. Because he was going to do what you're saying. He was going to tell a real story with game-changing dialogue that's not flat or surface level. But I agree with that. I agree with the assessment that most comics are kind of surface level right now. I don't think that getting deeper has to be political necessarily, and this is not me taking a stance on should comics be political or not. I think that's just the nature of telling stories at times. But I do think that comics can go deeper. There are layers that they can delve into that they often don't, and it is frustrating.
And I mean, to the book club we just did, right? Like there are books out there that do that. It's just whether or not they're at the right. They're at a publisher where they feel like they could be as expressive about those things. And I'm sure for DC and Marvel, there are creators who want to push their push out ideas and just like be able to share those with audiences. But to Sean's point, yeah, you gotta like what is best for the dollar sort of becomes the priority as opposed to what is best for the I guess what is best for the story, what is best for a narrative.
Well, not even that. I mean, even just the wrong person in charge.
Sure.
For how many years we've had a Trump donor in charge of Marvel. So my answer to this was yeah, very similar. It's the corporation stuff. You've gotta water it down so that it is passable.
Yeah, now that these are the Marvel and DC, the big two, are owned by bigger corporations, and conglomerates, that we're not going to see that. I mean, 9/11 was kind of I don't want to say special, but it was a very specific point. You know what I mean? But like where it was like, all right, it was kind of universally like this is how we handle that. And I think money for like the Marvel issue where Doctor Doom cries, I think money went towards like first responders and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
There was stuff like that. Like I don't know. It would have to be more of a PR thing for something like that to happen. Do we need another Holy Terror? No, we don't. But yeah, I think we're getting it. It's just not getting it in big two. We're getting it in web comics. We're getting it in image books, and it's a lot more subtext as well, I think.
I also would argue that if you really look at the early 2000s and you look at what happened post 9/11, there was a conservative wave.
Yeah.
It wasn't a liberal wave.
Yeah.
Things like Holy Terror that creatives and fans, put down. Quality aside, I have no idea the quality. I've never read it. But just like the idea of the story, it's despicable to us now. But quite frankly, around that time, there are probably a lot of people that wanted to read that. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that is the case.
The mentality.
Yeah.
Well,
The
and
ideology.
even still, like if you look at the Ultimates, that Captain America is, I mean, just short of that Holy Terror style of hero.
Yeah.
It was clean. It wasn't the unhinged Frank Miller, but it was brutal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan in the chat brings up a good or makes a good quote here. Just comics aren't deeper now than 20 years ago. It just feels that way because we remember the best ones. Then he clarifies they weren't deeper before, but I'm not too sure. But I'm gonna base it off the first one.
He meant they weren't deeper.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he has his point salient that we'll remember those stories that stick out, and whether or not like day to day we see those kinds of stories populated in the pages of like Amazing Spider-Man or something else, I think is less likely now. I think in comics in general, we're probably seeing an uptrend, but I wonder if it's not just relegated to those two publishers or the larger publishers outside of Image.
I mean, Spider-Man's tackling a very, very problematic issue currently. The cucking of straight white men is being...
Well, the last thing I want to say on this is in response to what Dan said, and that's, you don't have to go back but 7 years, less than a decade, certainly, to see that Marvel has changed.
Yeah.
If you look at Secret Empire. Secret Empire was the last time that Marvel took a real, genuine risk with its characters. And I don't think Miss Marvel dying was a risk. I think that's the safest thing you could do. But that was a risk. And the reaction, the backlash was so deep, so intense that they'll never do that again. They'll never swing like that again. There's too much on the line, in their opinion, and they don't want to turn people off. But if you look at decades prior, Captain America being a Nazi was not a new idea. That had already been done. And, it's fine. But this wasn't fine. This led to people burning comics. So the world is different, and comics have reacted by recoiling. And when I say comics, I mean Big Two comics. By recoiling away from controversy instead of leaning into it like they did with drugs. Putting drugs and drug use in a comic in 70 whatever was a very controversial thing, but they did it because they didn't give a shit.
Well, they did it too because drug safety was a big thing. That's when like DARE, was introduced, and that's when the government put crack into lower. Okay, well, we won't get into my thoughts on that.
When was that done before? Jeez. I can't get into trying to find out when specifically, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that imagery before. Captain America mind controlled as either an agent of Hydra or a Nazi.
Yeah, it definitely happened.
Yeah.
The whole thing with that too is that I don't think Spencer even thought of it as Cap being a Nazi. It was like, no, he's just the bad guy. But then it snowballed,
He wasn't a Nazi. Like it's so hard to explain, and we've done this dance, but like Hydra is not exactly a Nazi group, and
sure,
an analog.
It was
an analog.
Yeah, exactly.
It was an analog, but they still had Nazis, So
right,
yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
We have to address though before we move too far forward from Manny, the fact that this man went wild on our Discord this week and brought up the idea that Aunt May must die. He said that Peter Parker is begging for the death of his sweet old Aunt May and that she is singularly responsible for keeping Peter from moving on. Now, our Discord exploded with this conversation.
Phenomenal.
I got
It
to
was
share some
incredible.
good Frank Cho art. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nasty art. That was nasty work.
We need
Hold
Frank
on.
Cho on the show.
It was what was depicted was nasty, but it was phenomenal art.
And so I think we should leave it to a poll, just like DC decided to leave Jason Todd's fate to a poll. I think we should leave the fate of Aunt May to a poll right now on YouTube. If one of you lovely pals
Can you do
if you
polls
know how
on
to do
YouTube?
that, I don't even know how to do it.
I don't know if you can do polls on YouTube, but it's fine.
All right, fine. Live poll in the chat. Aunt May. Is Manny correct that Aunt May needs to go, or should we keep Aunt May around? It's up to you. Whatever we vote on is what's going to happen. So
We're going straight to the Marvel offices. We're taking that big old pencil they used to make canon events. And
oh man. All right. There's a question going around that we thought was pretty interesting that we should tackle. And the question is, who is on the Mount Rushmore of comics? What characters are on the Mount Rushmore of comics? Now, I think it was Batman, Superman, Hulk, right?
Nope.
No?
Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man.
yeah,
And wasn't Wolverine on there too? No?
that's the fourth spot is what people are debating.
Okay.
Debate.
Yeah.
So Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and who is the fourth? Now, first of all, does anybody dispute those three?
No. No. I mean, if we're talking superheroes, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking Mickey Mouse is on there too, but if we're not talking about them. Ooh, we got a poll up.
Hey, yo.
I figured it out.
There you
Aunt
go.
May, dead or alive? I know my vote.
All right. Well, I'm voting alive because there's just no reason. She's going to die of old age down the line.
No, she won't. Not with the sliding time scale.
All right. That's true.
I love seeing this bounce like in real
Oh,
time right now.
yeah.
Oh my God. You got 12 votes already. What is dead? 67% dead already
Dead.
within
It's all of them.
10 seconds.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It's the film arc of emotion. You know, a character has his wants and his needs. Peter doesn't want Aunt May to die, but Peter needs Aunt May to die. And someday those are gonna come to a in conflict. And he's gonna have to grow. He's gonna have to.
Oh my God. We got a super chat from Top Lane. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, if Aunt May dies, we know Manny used some Twitter bot spammer to put that old lady down. Unbelievable. Oh my God. You guys are brutal. CW Gordon, just Google that Frank Cho art. Can I change my vote?
To what? This isn't
Yeah, right?
This isn't
Ooh,
a
keep
fuck,
her
marry, kill.
alive.
This is a dead or alive.
She's a virile specimen.
Let me get some of them wheat cakes.
Oh, you think she has the wagon?
No, she makes wheat cakes. She
Oh, okay.
yeah. Come on, Sean.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying she was pulling a dump truck.
I don't think she's got a
She got that
CDL.
old lady booty.
I don't think she's got a CDL.
I've seen those. When you walk, listen. I live in Upper Manhattan. I almost doxed myself. I live in Upper Manhattan, okay, and all I see are Dominican and Puerto Rican people, and
Yeah.
these older women.
Yes.
It doesn't even compute in my brain when you see this. I'm not even gonna go into it all, but like Aunt May could have the wagon. We don't know. It's unconfirmed.
She's Jewish though. She's a Jewish white lady. Like,
That's okay. That's okay. Things change. Gilps exist. Ouroboros snakes. Hey, listen, Aunt May could be on that list. Now, who is on the list of the Mount Rushmore of superhero?
Fatties.
oh, we're
wait,
talking about that now.
We're going from rock hard to rock wall on this.
What about Aunt May's BBL?
Just injected full of web fluid?
Doc Ock hit her with that BBL when they were together. He was like, you know what? You need a bigger butt. All right.
He's got the ability. He has the technology.
I think he gave it to himself first,
fatty.
though. Yeah.
So we have Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman uncontested, right?
Sure.
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah.
Who is the fourth?
Goku.
What the heck?
Wait, in comics?
The comics.
Western
Goku.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Western superhero comics.
Superhero comics.
I people want it to be Wonder Woman, but it's not. It's just not. I'm sorry.
Why?
It's not.
Because I do feel like it's Wonder Woman.
I think even DC wants it to be Wonder Woman. It's just not. How is she relevant? The most relevant she's been in the past 2 decades is Gal Gadot.
I don't think she needs to be relevant to still be iconic. Like you think of a female superhero, it's Wonder Woman, right off the bat.
But it's her job to be iconic.
Sure.
It's her job to be iconic. It's all of their jobs to be iconic. Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man are known by people who don't even know superheroes.
I would say Wonder Woman's another one.
It's like people in a fucking cave in India know who Columbo is.
Do they?
Yeah. You can find that in Peter Falk's biography.
Oh, interesting.
Damn. All right, Kale. I'm going to say Capitan America. Because I think the shield is iconic. I think what the character stands for, I think outside of the States makes sense. Is like, this is a way to visualize. What?
It stands for tyranny outside the States.
Well, you know. But I think that it's a classic enough character that has become popular enough. It's been revitalized to the extent that it probably becomes that character.
The way I'm thinking about this is, when you look at a pack of bootleg superhero action figures, who's going to be in that?
That's great.
I think
it's a great way to think about it.
I think you're going to see Superman, you're going to see Batman, you're going to see Spider-Man. That's the Vengadores, like one of those things. And I feel like Wonder Woman would be one of them. But I think the other options would be Wolverine and Hulk.
And maybe now Iron Man.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I could see Iron Man.
I think Iron Man lacks iconography. Like Wonder Woman, you can see the logo, you can see the lasso of truth. Iron Man is just like a whole package.
So. He's got the mask.
I guess.
Or the reactor. I think the movie sealed that.
Mm-hmm.
So you think if you show someone a reactor, they'll be like, "Oh, that's Iron Man."
I bet that would be the first guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I think Cyborg actually.
You're on the show, Marco. What do you?
Yeah.
You're talking about like the silhouette logo, yeah?
The chest piece, the reactor.
The arc reactor in his chest.
It actually couldn't be a silhouette based on the definition of a silhouette. Do you mean a black circle? No, that's not what I mean.
Oh. Some people in the chat are saying Robin. Interesting.
Oh, I can see that.
It is kind of snot. Batman Robin. Just.
Okay.
Ooh.
Have you guys ever heard the phrase Hulk out?
I think it's Hulk. I think it's Hulk.
Oh, come on.
Hulk is such. Yeah.
I believe it's Hulk. Hulk is extremely popular in the way that like Band-Aids are popular.
What?
Everybody knows who the Hulk is, and they understand the Hulk without ever having read anything Hulk related whatsoever. Everybody can tell you exactly who the Hulk is. They know he's Bruce Banner, and they know he's a dude who gets pissed and he turns into a green monster. Everybody knows that. The Hulk TV show was hugely popular. That character concept of a man who gets angry and gets huge that's timeless. That there's like we've seen that kind of thing in history, like pre-comics.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Hulk is a character who is, in a way, another example in a long legacy of characters like him. He's just the one that Marvel has. So to me, in comics, Hulk is the fourth.
Naruto Uzumaki. Thank you, Classy.
We got a super chat from Tom Account saying, "Doesn't the FF deserve a spot given their importance to the Dawn on Marvel?" I'm going with Ben Grimm. Great discussion.
Thank you for the $9.99 super chat, Atomic Hound.
I mean, Ben Grimm would be an easy one to put on a rock wall.
Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat for that completely wrong answer.
Well, but no, actually, no, never mind.
It's clobbering time is iconic, and I feel like that's transcended comics. I mean,
But
I watch wrestling, so yeah.
but Hulk smash too.
The problem is that it transcended comics, but not everybody can relate it back to its origin. Whereas people who say Hulk smash or he went in Hulk mode or anything like that, they know what they're saying.
Well, people who are into bondage shows like Wonder Woman's iconography.
I don't even feel like Wonder Woman is in the top 3 iconic characters in her own publishing company.
Yikes,
Because it's Harley
bro.
Quinn, not Wonder Woman.
I have a really hard time not giving the spot to Harley Quinn. If I'm
Oh,
honest.
that's a good
Yeah.
point.
I don't think the Wonder Woman argument can hold up against the fact that she's not in the top 3 of her own publication.
Harley did have a Fortnite skin before Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, I think you might be right on that one. Shit, I changed my answer. Forget Captain America. Harley Quinn.
I honestly, I would put Harley Quinn there before Captain America.
Yep.
All right, can we ban Catherine real quick? She said, "Damn, I was gonna say Morbius."
Oh
Ban.
my god! I just
Ban,
took mental
permanently
damage.
Psionic attack. Your psionic still in the comics my favorite way of phrasing something psychic.
So what are all our answers here? I still think Wonder Woman. Like that's just my gut.
Hulk.
No, Harley, I think.
So Sean, you're talking Red Hulk, right?
Oh shit!
From your favorite run with Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness.
Dude, I'd rather be in a submarine that was going nowhere but the bottom and read those Red Hulk run again.
You see, Virgin Galactic is doing their first commercial space travel.
Yeah.
For
like the day
$450,000.
after.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, Virgin Galactic has the chance to do something hilarious right now.
They've had that for a while.
Oh
working
my
on it.
god, dude! I'd rather be on a spaceship with fucking William Shatner and Jeff Bezos than
Bro,
read Red Hulk.
did you see when he came back down and William Shatner's having this huge moment and then Jeff Bezos just interrupts it?
I
He just
love it.
steps in.
I never hated that guy more. We have some requests for a villains version of this, but I think maybe we can.
Oh, that's fun.
Save
we'll do
that.
that.
Ooh.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll do
save
that next week. Hulk concept is so easy to recognize and understand. Wonder Woman doesn't have that. Only her lasso. Yeah, I agree with that. I think there is a generation to whom Wonder Woman is like everything, and I love the fact that Wonder Woman, is who she is for young girls and things like that. But I think her most popular years are behind her, unfortunately. Harley Quinn is becoming that new character. And so I can't really see putting her on a Mount Rushmore. Not that it's an unreasonable decision, though. It's not. I'm not going to say you're crazy for giving that answer.
There's one character too we haven't mentioned that is the stock is rising, and that's Black Panther.
Swamp Thing. Oh.
Black Panther, also known as
think-
Shuri.
Why would you do that with Chillmonger in the chat? Hello,
That's
Chillmonger.
why I did
Check
it.
out Chill's YouTube channel.
That's why I saw Chillmonger in there. I'm like, oh, what can I do here? What can I do?
You're trying to start
Yeah.
a World War III, man?
Yeah, T'Challa. That's the Black Panther, right? The second T'Challa.
The child.
T'Challa.
All right, we got to move on, but this has been an incredibly fun conversation. You guys in chat are
I think our poll is done though.
phenomenal. Oh, okay. So
Yikes.
Oh, she dead.
So the poll result is 79% for Aunt May being dead. So Manny, you get your wish. Aunt May is cooked. There are a lot of people that are in this chat that just have no souls that want the death of the elderly. I don't understand it. I voted alive.
As long as Aunt May is alive, Peter Parker will be a teenager sitting at her table. No matter how old he is. And that's not good for growth.
Honestly, I would have voted the same if the question was Peter dead or alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. You want to
Uncle
put that
Ben,
poll up?
dead or alive? Wipe out that whole family.
No, I bring Uncle Ben back, but everyone else be dead.
Dan says, my grandma knew Wonder Woman. So does my son. We don't know if Harley can sustain that. If this was 89, we'd be arguing about the Punisher. I can't tell you what I'd be saying in 89. But in 89, I'd probably be talking about the Hulk.
I can tell you what I would be saying in 89, and that's goo goo gaga. Because I was only just born.
Oh, shit. You were alive? I wasn't even in my dad's balls. Actually, I was. That's a total.
What's the retention for lives? Never mind. We don't need to get into.
This isn't a science podcast.
Yeah. This is allegedly a comics podcast. So speaking of which, we're going to talk about movies now. Because Superman Legacy has cast its Superman and its Lois Lane.
Did not hear this.
That I don't know how.
I'm trapped in the office all day.
Marco, it is insane to me how untapped in your social media feeds are to like comic book stuff.
Right.
Like not comics broke me, didn't even touch you.
Like the art and like the appreciation aspect of it and like the craft, but then anything delving into like the inner workings of social whatever. Okay.
Your algorithm is bonkers to me.
Yo, because you stay on social media, but
Yeah.
somehow
I'm
don't.
on it, but my shit avoids negativity. Mine's like, oh, look at this great stuff. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Nice.
Well, some people think it's amazing that we have found the people who will be playing Superman and Lois. After a very long search, we have David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan, who will be playing Superman and Lois, respectively. Corenswet is frankly, I've never heard of either one of these individuals. But
his name is Corn Sweat.
Corn Sweet, I think.
Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
I think it's
Unfortunate
Corn
either way.
Sweet. David Corn Sweet. Sounds
Maybe it's
British.
Sweet.
I think he's British.
So what's he done? Who is he? He was in House of Cards for a beat.
I think you're talking about Rachel Brosnahan.
Oh,
She was in
yes.
House of Cards.
No, I'm not.
They were
I'm
both in
talking
House of
about-
Cards?
Yeah.
Because she was the first.
She was a reporter.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she was great in that.
He has been an actor since he was a child. He was in a variety of things at that time. He was in Hollywood,
Oh, yeah, they were both there.
the show, and The Politician. So, and he was in We Own This City from HBO, which was fantastic. So this is his first major film.
Oh, sick.
Yep. And you know what? This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I wanted, because these days of getting these major actors to be in these roles, to me personally, I'm not into it, because a lot of times you get so sucked into who the actor is that you lose the authenticity of the character that they're supposed to be bringing to the table. If you go back to the cast of the Avengers, like the initial like Marvel superhero team, those were not like household names. I think the Nick Fury or Samuel L. Jackson was. But
there we go.
like Robert Downey Jr. was a well-known-ish actor from a bygone era who was disgraced.
Right.
And everybody else, I mean, Chris what's his name? Evans was doing
Hemsworth, both Chris's.
Yeah, they were doing nothingness. Not
They were
another
doing
teen
smaller
movie.
things. I mean, Fantastic
Yeah.
Four, but
Right.
Yeah.
I would say Scarlett Johansson probably pretty big.
She was the biggest.
But Jeremy
probably,
Renner, no, not really.
Mark Ruffalo. Rom-coms.
Yeah, he was more of an
like
indie
they were-
actor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they hadn't yet gone to like, let's grab Christian Bale, post Dark Knight. Let's grab all these famous people.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't the way.
They were C, maybe B.
And
but
I think it works. Go ahead.
Traditionally, Superman actors have always been kind of nobodies.
Right. Henry Cavill wasn't
Sure.
like a big deal. I don't know if Christopher Reeves was, but I don't think he was.
so. I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe people in the chat can tell us, but yeah. You know what? I'm into this.
Yeah.
I'm into this. I think they did a good job. As far as like I mean, Corn Sweat looks like Henry Cavill to me. I see the parallels.
Frankly, they should have picked Nicolas Cage.
I mean, hey,
Oh,
Lex
God.
Luthor. Let's do it.
Please don't.
I just like how Nicholas Hoult is now the first actor to not get both Batman and Superman, and having tried out for both of them.
He must be seething.
Honestly, I think he'd be a good Lex. Like, I'm curious to see who we get as Lex, because
I've seen
I
that.
think people have been testing for Lex Luthor. We know Lex will be in this.
Yeah.
And I think James Gunn's also said that Corn Sweat's 29, I believe, right?
30. He's July
30.
8th was his birthday, so happy birthday.
Oh, good for him. Great. He must be having a good birthday this time. But Superman will be that age. So this is, Superman who's been around a while. So Lex has to be kind of already established. But honestly,
good.
out of the two castings, I'm more excited for Rachel Brosnahan. I thought she was great in House of Cards.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at her face, I remember her more from that
Yeah.
show, and yes, she was absolutely one of my faves. So
She was the one that what's his face got obsessed with. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Minus the Kevin Spacey stuff, like yikes. That's a great show.
Yeah.
I love that show. Yeah, that was good stuff. Casting is one thing. We obviously scripts, a director, all of those things working together are what make a great movie. But this is a good first step. Well, it's really the second step because James Gunn was the first step, and that's a great first step.
Dude, she's Miss Maisel.
Yeah.
That's
And Marvelous Miss
that's
Maisel,
crazy.
yeah.
She's absolutely incredible. I'm even more excited now.
I've only watched a little bit of that, but from what I've seen, yeah.
Tyler, that's your show, dude.
I know it's down
Phenomenal.
my alley. I know.
Classy Ulysses says Superman fans is eating good comics, movie casting, and Adventures with Superman cartoon. Yeah,
True, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Getting
I
good
haven't
buzz.
caught it yet, but
Superman
buzz.
has a Sailor Moon-esque transformation in that show, so
No way, really?
it's
Magical
almost
Girl?
identical. It has magical girl transformation, yeah.
That's pretty rad, actually.
And voiced by Jack Quaid, who I really enjoy. So.
Oh,
So yeah, I mean we're still a ways away from actually seeing this movie, but this is good news, and as we get more information about who will be playing Lex and Jimmy Olsen and different characters like that, this movie will start to take shape for us. But I'm so far so good. I'm pleased.
yeah. Good cast. Good stuff.
Let's talk distillery.
Back in the news? Man,
Yeah.
I really do be missing shit.
Well, we know about the Devil's Cut. That is the anthology book that's going to introduce the founding creators at Distillery and give us an idea of what's going to be happening. And now we know that 8 of the 11 stories that will be featured in the Devil's Cut, which is an 88-page premium one-shot, 8 of those will become full ongoing series. So this is it's a pretty incredible list of creators. I'm gonna rattle off the book titles and the creative team. So all of this will be in the Devil's Cut, and then all of them will spin off into their own series throughout 2023 and 2024. So we have Spectrograph by James Tynion, Christian Ward and Aditya Bidikar, Shepherd by Mark Bernardin, Ariella Christiantina, Lee Lowridge, and Bernardo Bryce.
Oh, Willow Ridge.
Yeah. 8 Rules to Make It Out in One Piece by Elsa Chartier. I always get that wrong.
Elise Chatier.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. You can say her name from now
Yeah.
on.
French.
P.K. Collinet, Nick Filardi, and Clayton Cowles. A Blessed Day by Mirka Andolfo. I love Mirka. Fabio Emilia.
I wonder why.
You know why. Arcancia Studio and Steve Orlando. The Stowaway by Jock. So a Jock solo adventure. Deleted Scene 2 by Brian Azzarello, Eduardo Riso, and Jared K. Fletcher. White Boat by Scott Snyder, Francesco Francavilla, and World Design, and Tyler Jens. That's a great
team.
creative team.
There
Next
is some
to
art
come
for
back.
that as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's got tentacles.
Oh, sick.
Gang, gang.
What Blighted Flame Burns in Thee by Becky Cloonan,
Ooh.
Tula Lote,
Ooh.
who we just really saw do some interiors in Barnstormers. Man, was she
Really
cooking.
so.
And Richard Starkings.
Man, can't we just get Becky on interiors again? Like I miss Becky Cloonan art.
I feel the same way, Tyler.
I have Becky Cloonan art behind me on my wall. You can kind of see it a little bit over there. It's behind a door, but yeah, like I love that shit.
Do you guys care about this?
Nope.
Yes.
Kale was just winding that one up. I don't know
What do
yet.
you mean?
Yeah, I think the teams are good. I think on paper this seems fine.
But that's the problem.
Sure. I mean, it's too nebulous right now. On paper, a lot of the Scott Tober stuff looked good too, but it was very samey. So I think
good,
this.
but-
I think it's for the craft that it is good, but I think reading them back to back, they're a little samey. I think that this distillery, the one shot or whatever, that's essentially now we see as a sampler of what's to come.
Yeah.
Has the potential to be like a TGI Fridays Tex-Mex tower from the 90s, where like every layer is pretty good, and I'm excited to see those. I'm constantly thinking about the TGI Fridays Tex-Mex tower from the 90s, so appetizer sampler. But yeah, it could be good. Oh, well. There's that old catchphrase.
You said all those words just to end up saying it could be good.
Yeah.
Hill.
Comics pal staple.
I'm excited for it. Any new book out in the stands, I think is going to be awesome, and they provide preview images, and the art's solid. I trust a lot of these writers, so I feel like the words are going to be solid as well. I don't know. I'm hopeful, and you can see like the individual art pieces and be like, oh, that's this person. They're ordered too, but even off bat, you can tell who's drawing what, and it all looks phenomenal. The lead scene looks like a Western.
I'm excited for the creative teams and whatnot, but
I'm not feeling it from you, Sean.
yeah, like I'm trying to generate hype for myself, but the truth is that there are a lot of publishers, and other than Tula Lote, I see all these people pretty much all the time.
You can. There are a lot of publishers, and all of these creators have a lot of books at all of those publishers.
Which is kind of what I was trying to say to Rom when we discussed Distillery, but
Yeah. And notice he's not on that list.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why that is, but it's a lot. It's a lot. You're telling me they're going to launch with 8 ongoings, and Rom V's name's not there, so you know that he's going to have something too. That's a lot.
I wonder if his is just explicitly not an ongoing,
It could also just not be ready yet. It might not be ready for the Devil's Cut.
Are they? Do we have release dates?
No.
Okay.
We only know that the Devil's Cut itself will be out in August.
And that's the anthology.
Yeah. Yep. We'll see.
I think it's going to be hard to that point on the saturated market. Like maybe like for the artists that I really want to see, Rodorizo and Tula Lote. But otherwise, man, I don't know. There needs to be really good buzz about a lot of these books for me to decide, okay, I'm going to go jump in.
How soon until we hear that Distillery partnered with a production company? These are really just IP farms.
And even like Marco said something, I completely forgot what he was going to say. Anyway, what Do we know what the other 3 titles in that book are at all?
No.
So then where are the new creators?
There hasn't been any promise of that, and I think that's that's one of the consistent complaints that we have made about these initiatives. Atomic Hound referenced Substack, and
Yeah.
that was a problem that we had with Substack. When you look at this list, we know every name on it, and that's a great way to sell a book. Obviously, there's
Sure.
no, I'm not going to argue against that. But I have 2 questions. One, other than feeding the mouths of people who are already fed in comics, and I'm not counting people's money, I'm just saying we know these people make a lot of books and they're very popular. So other than them, who will this serve? And also, what is the pay scale for the people on this list who are not founders? Because there are a lot of people here. So I'm very curious as to how that's all working. We can see the money. This is crowdfunding. And by crowd, I mean people with bread. I mean executives. I mean people that have contributed to Distillery's existence. You cannot buy this many talented, high-paid creators right out the gate as a new publisher without some heavy-duty funding. What's the cost of that money? We don't know yet. It'll reveal itself in time. I don't want to be a downer about this, but I do have some concerns about Distillery. But in terms of stories, yes, I'm sure they will be great.
I don't mind being a downer about it. I am not looking forward to this. And I think, I think this will be Substack.
So, Sean, I know you signed up for Snyder's Substack, right?
Yeah.
Have any of you guys signed up for anyone's Substack?
Nope.
I was on Snyder's. I finally gave that up. I'm on Chip Zdarsky's
Okay.
and a couple other people's uncomic related.
Yeah, I think I have the notifications for manga explaining, but that's unrelated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope this isn't another Distillery because Distillery comics feel like they're
Another
in
Substack.
I'm sorry, Substack. They feel like they're just sequestered somewhere. I don't know. Like if they get printed, I read them. If they don't, I won't.
Yeah. Especially like we have art from Francavilla on the YouTube right now, but all of their promo art looks like Francavilla, at least Francavilla designed, inspired.
That seems to be the majority. I think that the Distillery one, they've had a couple different covers with different artists, but interior art, the only one I can find is the Francavilla one.
I just like, I don't know, man. It's good art, but it just doesn't do anything for me. These giant D's everywhere.
The
article.
Newsarama article has some interiors.
Yeah, all interior, 1 page from each of the books that
Yeah.
got announced.
Yeah.
In that respective order as well.
Yep. So if you're wanting that, you should take a look. The art's real good.
That Tulo Te
Of course
art
it is.
at the end.
Yep.
Eduardo Rizzo.
Hell yeah.
I'd wonder if you're actually. I'm not even gonna ask this. I figure it's gonna be a no, Kale.
Let's hear it.
Would your opinion change if you saw how bomb some of this art was?
I'm looking at it right now.
Nope.
No. Because one, what am I looking at? And two, like, the stuff that if this black and white page is this Lotte?
Yeah, the
That's
last one.
That's pretty fire. But I just none of this, like, all of the people attached to it are all people I know.
Dan makes a great point. He says to creators it may be a new type of deal, but to readers it's just a new publisher. And I think that's where our sort of apathy is coming from, in that it would be like anybody else announcing a new slate of books. It's just more books. Like, it's great for the creators, hopefully, but for us, it's comics, and we'll see if they're good or not. We'll talk about them on Palaceables.
Comics as usual. CAU, baby.
Tyler, let's skip the next one, okay? Let's roll right into San Diego Comic-Con, which is experiencing what everybody calls a downturn, if you will,
Pull-out game.
a crisis, a pull-out game. That's a great way to put it. Because all the major studios are pulling out of SDCC this year. Disney is out. So Marvel and Lucasfilm will not be represented, even though they have a whole slate of things coming out over the next couple of years that they may or may not have material to show for.
Disney is out. DeSantis was right. Pushing the agenda.
HBO is out. Max is in. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know. But how HBO can be out, but Max can be in is beyond me.
Probably Peacemaker and that new Superman show.
I bet you it's just a Superman show, honestly.
So
Could be.
HBO, well, okay, so with Max, what we know that they have coming up is Adventure Time, a new Adventure Time series.
Okay.
Young Love. Oh, that's interesting. We just saw that.
That's
title.
a DC property.
They got the new Velma and then DC's Creature Commandos and some other things that are whatever. So those things are all upcoming, so you can expect that they'll be talking about some amount of that. Sony Pictures out of San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, they have Madam Web, they've got Kraven, Beyond the Spider-Verse, all movies that,
You telling me nobody's going to be there to talk about Madam Web?
Oh no.
Man, no Dakota Johnson is like a big hit for me, honestly. No Sydney Sweeney.
Also out is Universal Pictures.
We're not going to learn about the future of the Monsters verse?
And when
I
I
was going to
say
make that same joke.
I was hyped for that kind of. I wish
I was too, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a big Universal Monsters fan.
The Dark Universe, is that what it
The
was?
Dark Universe.
Yeah,
Hell
Dark
yeah.
Universe, yeah.
Man, that was gonna be so cool.
That picture lives rent free in my head, 100% of all those actors together. and
There's a
nothing
Twitter
happened.
account that only exists to retweet that the day when they announced it every year.
Beautiful. I love it. Netflix is out. And when I say out, I mean like they don't have a panel or anything like that. They may or may not have a booth, but in most of the cases that I've cited, they don't. Netflix will have a booth, likely. Warner Brothers Pictures, they pulled out of the like DC stuff. So James Gunn's DC will not be represented at San Diego Comic-Con.
Let it cook. Let it cook.
Yeah, just let that sit.
Frankly, I agree. There are a whole other, I'm not going to go down the whole list. Those are the ones that are really important to us. There's a whole bunch of other ones that are either in or out, but mostly out of San Diego Comic-Con. Now, there's a great reason for this, like a logical reason, which is the strike.
Yeah.
Right.
So, they might not have been able to film over the last couple of months and progress with these properties, so they don't really have anything to show. On top of that, they might not want to bring attention to the fact that they're talking about these things while there's an active strike.
And also, like, why hype something up when you don't really know when it's ever going to come out, honestly, at this point.
Or how it's going to change even.
Exactly.
And if the studio can afford to, like, or can save money by not doing this, fuck it.
And on top of all that, the various bombs that DC's put out lately,
Quite frankly, yeah, they might want some time away from all that. And I stand by what I've said. I think James Gunn and David Zaslav have talked too much, and I think it's time to just stop. And San Diego Comic-Con is not the place to go if you don't have footage. If all you're going to do is talk, don't go.
Anytime you say that, Sean, I just think of the Botchmania, you talk too much, Run DMC soundbite.
100%, dude. But you know who's in for San Diego Comic-Con? Marvel, DC Comics, Image Comics, Boom, Dark Horse, DSTLRY, all these publishers, and ones I haven't named, a ton of publishers. Happy days that San Diego Comic-Con is no longer beholden to these studios. They sold themselves out to allow Hollywood to overtake an event that was already big and was about comics. So let's get back to that. That's a great thing. I'm down for that. We never needed Hollywood. Yeah, the movies that were based on comics, but we don't need every single studio to be at these conventions to make them worth going to. They're worth going to because comics are there and people will show up.
They can have their own fandoms instead.
It's a hot ass ticket.
The thing is, like, I don't have an urge to ever go to San Diego Comic-Con because of that. You know,
Yeah.
it just reeks of just being the most commercial thing ever. Where, like, to do anything cool, you have to wait in line the entire day.
Yep.
Like, that's why I prefer New York Comic Con. Even then, they're kind of skewing the wrong direction for me. Like, for me, Special Edition New York Comic Con was the best convention I ever went to, because it was so comic focused, so creator focused, so art focused. If we can get a little bit of that back to San Diego Comic Con, could be good. Shit, I said it again.
Yeah, I agree. Put more of a spotlight on comics. Let's have a comic book publisher get a Hall H presentation. You know, let's go back to that. It works. It works. That's a hot ticket. People will buy a ticket to San Diego Comic-Con way before they know who's there and who's not there.
Yeah, they could put a spotlight onto Marvel announcing the new Miss Marvel creative team.
Zeb Wells. JRJ.
Sean, we will be reading.
Hell yeah. I am excited to see what this iteration of SDCC looks like. As excited as I can get for that event.
Fair.
I worry that it will be a wet fart. And I want to be clear, I desperately want Comic-Con to be about comics and not movies. My worry is that Marvel and DC with the studios backing out, they're not going to have anything to show.
So you're afraid that the comics end is just going to sound like
A wet fart.
Yeah.
Were you playing something there? Because I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I was playing the moan, bark, fart sound. I guess you guys don't get it. I think
Oh,
the
yeah.
chat gets it,
we
though.
can hear that.
Damn.
Damn. I laugh at that every single time. Well, Marvel and DC for their part have announced what they will be doing at San Diego Comic-Con. It's what you would expect. They've got the CB Cebulski panel that they do every year, which is gonna include Joe Quesada, which is pretty cool. So they'll be teaming up for a convo.
Is it a Cup of
Everybody
Joe
remembers.
reunion, sort of?
It's not labeled a Cup of Joe. It's Marvel Fanfare with CB Cebulski, but longtime fans will, of course, know about the legendary Cup of Joes.
And those were the ones where they announced the stuff. So, Interesting. Okay.
They've got a lot of panels. The Next Big Thing panel, Women of Marvel panel, the kind of stuff you would expect. Nothing groundbreaking, but I don't think that, the groundbreaking thing will be what they announce potentially, not the name of the pan, And DC, for their part, is doing a similar thing.
Dan highlights sort of what I'm getting at here. He says, I hate overstuffed cons, but what will the exit of Hollywood money do to the comics market? And I don't think this is an exit of Hollywood money, because obviously we still have a crap ton of stuff coming down the pipe. I think it's just going to be a matter of are the comics going to be as prepared as maybe they should be when the focus is on them?
Well, the good thing is that comics don't have a union, so they don't have to worry about strikes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people who love comic book conventions, right? Like we see it at New York. Yeah, there's Hollywood stuff there. It's there. It's cool. And it's big. I'm not saying that like it's not big in New York, but you have the major Marvel booth, a huge booth. You have a lot of people running around in cosplay, and it's really fun and exciting. And if you're a comic book fan, you can have a full experience without having to be overtaken by all the Hollywood stuff. I've looked at pictures of San Diego Comic Con. I'm like, oh my God. I can't even see a comic book anything.
Yeah.
Do I think Hollywood money is leaving comics? Not at all. I think there are Hollywood reasons why they're pulling out, not this doesn't work for us anymore, brother. Reasons why they're pulling out. It's a wrestling reference. They'll be back next year.
Yeah.
Hollywood
Okay,
will be back.
I got you.
also
Another reason
lost.
Hulk is on the Mount Rushmore there, with
Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
Mount
absolutely.
Rushmore of leaked videos.
Oh,
There's probably some truth to that. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
too much sashimi, brother.
So,
Yikes.
Kim K, Paris Hilton, and Hulk Hogan.
What's the fourth one?
That snuff film of the guy in the Chinese factory.
Okay. Thank
Fucking
you
what?
very much. Let's move on.
I guess it's my fault.
And let's talk about Deadpool 3.
Let's go.
Deadpool 3. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
If we have to.
He's like, sure.
Deadpool 3 is not a movie that I'm terribly excited for. The Deadpool movies are fine to me. This one, though, will feature Wolverine in a Deadpool Wolverine team up type story.
Hugh
And there-
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, yes, absolutely. Worth pointing out. And there have been a lot of rumors about who else will be in this movie. We've heard rumors all week and last week about Ben Affleck returning to reprise his role as as Daredevil, if you could believe that shit.
Yeah, Darefleck doesn't have the same ring to it.
No. Although I will say the extended cut of Daredevil is solid. Anyway, we've heard rumors about other actors from the Fox universe of Marvel movies potentially reprising their roles, certain X-Men and things like that. Fantastic Four actors. Now we have confirmation of one of them. We know that Jennifer Garner will return in the role of Elektra. According to the Hollywood Reporter, it's confirmed now. And that opens the floodgates.
What?
That opens the floodgates. And it leads me to my next point, which is this movie now taking shape to probably be Deadpool kills the Fox universe.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I think you have to do the Fantastic Four cast. Like, you have to bring Chris Evans back just to, like, even if it's for, like, a Brad Pitt, Deadpool 2 style quick cameo. Deadpool makes a Captain America joke. I'm kind of excited for this now. I want to see Deadpool kill my entire childhood. Let's do it.
Come on.
Did you guys see the costume? The Deadpool costume from the set?
No.
It is.
A
It
Deadpool
is.
costume.
But it's very comic accurately colored. Like it's like, all right, we're just gonna do bright red. He's got the teleporter, I think, on him too. So
And that's going to be the Marvel effect, if you ask me.
yeah.
That's going to be Marvel not being ashamed of their characters being comic book characters, whereas no one will ever be able to convince me that Fox was happy that these were characters from the comics.
Sean, did you see the other rumor that Wolverine will be in blue and yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Oh yeah?
This kind of feels like they're doing Cable Deadpool, the really good. Oh geez, who was on that book at the time? It was during the Civil War era, but with Wolverine and Deadpool instead. So
I want so badly to say that I'm hyped for this.
Come on.
yeah, I'm not hyped. Yeah.
Because I'm like tired of the let's reference everything from the past and bring everybody back and like does the Fox universe deserve a proper send off? I'm not so sure that it does.
Just
quite
let it
frankly.
die. Let it rot.
And right, and like Marvel just got the rights back to the X-Men and stuff. I almost feel like they shouldn't do this, but I know people will have fun with it.
Sean, what if Sophie Turner or Famke Jensen show up?
All right, I want it.
High meters
Yeah, he
up.
wants to see them
What if they
die.
both
Get them
show
both. Please get them. I won't survive that.
Yo, give me Oscar Isaacs as Apocalypse. You know, like
Double Jean Grey on the screen, dude.
Double J. Oh no, not him.
No. Yeah.
I mean, this is the only one that could actually film right now too, because it's the writing of it is done. And I guess they don't care to have a writer on set. So
I've heard Ryan Reynolds can't improvise though.
he
Yeah,
can't
that's
or
correct.
can.
He can't.
Interesting.
But
Is he writing at that point?
yeah,
I think
'cause
so,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah. Because you're meaningfully altering the script.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, that's not allowed. But it's worth pointing out that was the exact same circumstance when the first Deadpool movie was filmed, I believe.
It's true. Yeah.
So he was unable to ad-lib that
Well-
as well.
We also have the looming actors strike, so we'll see what happens.
Right.
You know, signs are already being made for that. So
Oh my God, Aaron Ruiz! I better hear "Bring Me to Life" in the movie. I would
Yo,
go ballistic. I would go
same.
ballistic too. I
same.
would lose my mind. Evanescence, for those of you who aren't aware, that was their.
Are there-
big thing.
So say did they do this? What pre-MCU cameos would you want?
Double Gene?
Double Gene. Okay.
Can we get Magneto? Help me, please.
He does not want to be doing that anymore. Don't put that poor man in front of a green screen ever again.
I know he cried. I know, but
Sarah Ian McKellen.
thank
yeah,
you.
don't do it. We already killed off Charles Xavier in Doctor Strange, so we don't need to do that again.
Ooh, and Sarah, Patrick Stewart.
We already did it. Done.
Do it again. Do it again. Happy to do it again.
Kill him again.
I just
My
want to see
man
his
has
face.
died twice already, if I remember, because he died in Logan, right?
And he's
So-
gonna die 3 times. So
Oh, Marco! Wow. Bring back this guy from Frasier to play
Hank
Beast. again.
McCoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we're bringing back Elektra, give me Colin Farrell as Bullseye again.
Hell yeah.
I want to hear. I want to
Whoa.
hear some
Yo.
Cypress Hill when he shows up.
Bring back Black Kingpin. Let's get it.
Nope, he's dead.
No, he's
Ah,
dead.
Yeah, Michael Clark
That's right.
Duncan is
Bring
dead.
him back. I'm sorry. Damn. That does suck.
Deep fake. Let's go.
We could get fucking what's his name? David Keith.
The
As
voice
who?
actor. Well, he does physical acting too. Yeah. As who?
As Kingpin.
No, if you're gonna bring someone back, it's got to be
Yeah.
the same person. If you, my other,
I
pick-
mean, I think these are extenuating circumstances,
Yeah,
Tyler.
fair. For me, I want Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. Give us our white Nick Fury temporarily.
I'll riot. I don't want that. I reject that.
You ever watch that?
No.
It's watchable.
Listen, this is the type of conversation that puts me out of this podcast. Is casting this,
Member berries.
all of it. I hate it. This is the worst part of doing this for me. Tyler brought up White Nick Fury, and I said, fuck, maybe.
Wait, can we get? Oh, well, that's not Fox Universe. I was gonna say, can we get Eric Bana back as the Hulk?
I mean, we can
That's Universal. Yeah.
get what's her face
Oh.
back from Howard the Duck, Beverly,
No,
or bring back the Howard the Duck
Tyler.
costume. It's rotting somewhere, but
That's
Who's the-
nasty.
who's the other Hulk guy?
there's
No,
three.
Bill-
Eric Bana.
Bill
Ed
Bixby.
Norton.
Oh, Bill. Is he still alive?
Ah, great question. Lou Ferrigno is.
Get Lou,
But,
yeah, get Lou Ferrigno.
But if like I can see that being where like the whole thing is Deadpool killing these characters, and there's a montage scene, that scene of Bill Bixby just slowly walking away up that road, and Deadpool just pops out and just kills him. Like
Yeah. It's gonna be a fucking another Flash punch bowl thing where Deadpool's just looking at everybody throughout
yeah,
all
that's
the
what it's gonna
ages,
be.
and
Yeah.
what a nightmare.
Killmonger says a white Nick Fury creates a space for an actual black character. I don't know, man. Sam
Wait.
Jackson's pretty black to me.
What
Yo,
was his?
bring Wesley Snipes. Oh my God, that's the answer.
Oh,
That would
That's
be
the
good.
answer.
with
Bring
CGI
Wesley Snipes.
eyeballs.
Yes,
'Cause I would kill to see a Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes like Blade
that
Deadpool
could
sword
be a
fight.
lot of
Oh
fun.
my god, that is the money idea. That is the
Fucking
money
fun.
idea.
Make Blade like the main, like Deadpool's main antagonist. Oof.
Ryan
Okay.
Reynolds was in Blade.
Yeah, he fucking was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fucking
There's
was.
there's a
That's
joke right
right.
there. Yeah.
Blade 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yo, yes.
Trinity.
The worst
Triple H was too. Bring him back.
one. Poor dude's heart. Come on.
It's all about the game. Yeah. I think we've hit on something.
I
It'd be
wasn't
funny
excited.
if he accidentally goes to the Spawn universe as a gag. They just get that for a quick cameo.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
Chill. I understood exactly what you mean. I was joking.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. So Deadpool 3, potentially bringing back a ton of characters from the Fox universe. It'll be exciting to see who they do. Like, am I into it now today with no images of them or anything like that? No. But I'm a sucker and I'm a nerd. So when they show a trailer and I see Ben Affleck as Daredevil, am I gonna pop? Yeah.
Sean's a mark. You'll get him through the door.
I still like that movie. Daredevil movie is formative for me.
I can't fight that.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
I've not even seen the director's
I like
cut.
that movie.
I'm talking
Yeah.
theatrical cut too. I enjoy theatrical cut.
Watch the director's cut. It's legit.
Yeah, it's on my list of things I'll never do.
Of Daredevil?
Yeah. We should do a watch along of that. That would be cool.
That could
Be
be
good.
good. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, Tyler.
It's not even on purpose at this point.
I know. That's why. Classy Ulysses says, watch, it's gonna be a different DP3 movie. I heard rumors the plot is similar to The Flash. I mean,
how could it not be?
it's similar to The Flash, which is similar to Spider-Verse, which is similar to No Way Home. It's
Yeah.
all everybody's doing the same thing, and I think that's where my feelings of disinterest is coming from.
Yeah.
Is that we're seeing this so much. Secret Wars is going to do this. It's a lot. I'd
Everyone's
almost
just-
rather they not do it here and do the wacky stuff in Secret Wars. Like, bring everybody back and get rid of them then. That way it's like a final swan song. Because they're bringing these characters back from Secret Wars.
Hugh Jackman's showing up in Secret Wars. Let's be real.
Unless he's dead, which is not going to be happening because my man's healthy. He's in Secret Wars.
I don't know. Certainly not to speak ill of him.
He did have
had that
cancer.
big skin cancer.
Yeah, he did have
scare.
cancer. Yeah.
Like,
Oh, shit. All right, well, Marvel needs to fucking hurry up and film that movie.
and they keep pushing it back.
Jesus. One of the things I really wanted to see was, and this is like dumb, but I wanted to see Hugh Jackman's Wolverine on screen with, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., and I wanted to see him with Cap. I wanted to see a fight between Captain America and Wolverine. I really did. And it sucks that that's probably not going to happen. But it could happen in Secret Wars if Chris Evans gets off his ass, America's ass, and puts that costume on again. And it could happen if Hugh Jackman stays alive, keeps his body in shape, and puts those claws on when they start filming that movie in 3 fucking years.
Sean, what if it's
It
what if
ain't
it's
gonna be 3 years?
Agent of Shield Steve with the hollow shield?
Whatever's clever. They kind of sort of referenced that in Infinity War.
Yeah.
So, all right. Now, we promised the draft if we hit our likes goal. We smashed it, in fact. I need to set these higher for you guys.
Hulk smashed it.
There you go.
The clobber time it.
Almost. And so we will do the draft now, and this is the theme. We will be drafting a team of Marvel copycat characters. What do I mean by copycat characters? I mean, I'm not going to reference a whole bunch, but I mean what War Machine is to Iron Man. Characters that are very, very, very similar in concept that spawned after the fact and are an offshoot of the OG. That is the only way it works.
Do these have to be within like the same company?
Yes, it's Marvel only.
It's Marvel. Okay. sorry.
Can they be knockoffs of non-Marvel characters?
No, only knockoffs of Marvel characters.
Okay.
And they have to spawn from War Machine spawned from Iron Man. That's the only acceptable.
Like I put Red Arrow on this thing because I didn't know it was just Marvel, but that same idea.
Yes,
Where Red
'cause
Arrow
he's-
is to Green Arrow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So Hyperion, for example, does not count.
Because it's not
People say
Superman.
he's a copy of Superman. That's fine, but that he doesn't count for this.
How many are we drafting?
This will be tough.
Four?
So we're going to only do 4. Yeah,
Yeah.
only going to do
My
4.
God. Okay.
Ooh, even 4 for me feels a lot, bro. I don't know what you're
Bro,
talking about.
hey, bro. 4 for me feels hard.
And we're doing a snake, right? So
We'll do. Yeah, we're going to do the snake draft. So this is going to
The
be.
actual snake draft.
Yeah. Tyler, do you have an understanding of how to manage that?
it's straightforward. It's whoever goes last goes twice, and then you go in reverse order, and then
Yeah.
then the person who went first goes twice, and then
1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, cool. So now that we're all aware of the concept, now that we all have an understanding of what we are here to do today, I am going to break out my handy dandy dice. For this one, I will go with my X-Men dice, as you can see. And I will clear away anything that is unsafe for consumption on screen, and we will roll.
And put
Didn't
my
do that
pants
before.
on.
Now,
Who's
I will
first?
begin by rolling for Tyler.
what the fuck?
You don't want me to roll for you first? You're first on my screen.
Fine.
All right. And we have a 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
Tyler's
gonna roll my
last.
own D20 real quick. See what I get.
3.
I got a
Nat-
19. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Nat
yeah.
1.
I will roll for myself now. A 7. I will roll for Marco now.
12.
A 5.
Oop.
I will roll for Kale now. An 8, or a 9, rather. So it'll
Kale's
be
first.
Kale, myself, Marco, and Tyler.
Yeah. What? How? How is that?
I don't
possible?
know. It's the roll of the dice, man.
Collusion.
You're not a lucky person.
I'm really not. Ask Matt. It is known how I'm the most unlucky person out there.
The opposite of Domino.
All right. With that all said, Kale, you may begin.
I'm going to go Ben Riley first.
Oh.
Oh, that's a good
That's the
one.
one that makes the most sense to me.
I think as we go along, you'll start seeing.
I get it, but that's the first one that's
Marco.
No, you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. War Machine.
Okay.
Hobgoblin.
nice.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to say, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Sentry. Being sort of like Hyperion.
I don't think that doesn't pass the smell test for me.
I don't
'cause you
think
can't get 'em.
so.
Because he wasn't created he wasn't created for that purpose. He didn't spawn out of Hyperion.
Yeah,
All right, give me Mighty Thor, Jane Foster Thor.
There you go.
there
Nice. Good.
And
you go. Okay. Yeah, you get the next pick.
I get it. Oh, I get another one.
I should have written mine down.
Give
But I
me. Goddamn. I forgot that would go twice.
Kale's
Give
gonna
me
steal
Red
mine.
Hulk. Red Hulk, actually. Let me get Red Hulk.
Oh, good. That's
Christ.
good.
Oh my god.
I got Carnage.
Sean. Ooh, nice. Sean
Oh,
must have
I
just
would
seen
say
me
that's
wake
fair.
up to the concept.
Okay, Carnage is valid.
You're
So then
next,
I
Sean.
would go. Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, nice.
Fair.
Bucky Cap.
Nice.
That was gonna be my other one. Okay. Wait, no, Sean, you have to go twice.
Oh, okay.
No, I go twice.
Oh no.
No, Kale goes twice because he's first.
Yeah.
Oh, so Kale would go twice. Yeah.
Who else you got? Damn, this is crazy.
No.
I dead ass have 2 more. If any one of you picks it, I got my whole thing is screwed up.
She-Hulk.
Yep.
That's a good one. Yep.
Okay, so then I would be next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, so now we go climb back up.
I will go with Amadeus Cho. Hulk.
Oh, so
Damn,
totally
a lot
awesome
of-
Hulk.
okay.
Totally
A lot
awesome Hulk.
There's a lot of
Hulk
Hulks you can do
picks.
here. Yeah.
I wanna-
US
Sorry, go
But
ahead.
US agent.
Nice.
wow.
Good one.
That's a decent one.
That's good, man. I didn't see that coming from you.
Oh,
So
He
who
was in his
goes
TV
twice?
show, so he knows.
I
He
go-
goes twice.
I go twice again,
Right.
and then that's it for me, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with Spider-Woman,
Yeah. Nice.
and then I'm also gonna go with Flash Thompson, Agent Venom.
Very good. Very good.
My last one is X-23.
Oh, shit.
Good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I was thinking Dakin, and I was like, oh, there's got to be Wolverines, and I totally forgot about Laura.
Let's go. Damn, I got a good fucking list on this one.
Yeah, this had more meat on the bone than I thought it would. So
Yeah.
Kale.
It's your turn, Sean.
All right. Oof. Okay. I'm going to go with the Maker.
Ultimates.
Interesting.
That
Interesting.
opens up the floodgates a bit.
I almost called that, but that's good. My last one will be Scott Lang.
Oh,
Oh, well done.
nice.
Yeah, Marco,
Damn,
you're-
this, when I put this together, I was like, this will be fun and it'll be interesting for us to have to think outside the box, but we might have to get into like the bottom of the barrel. But we did this without anyone saying Sam Wilson Cap.
Oh, Marco still has to go.
Oh,
No,
I'm-
I went.
You have all four?
no, yeah, he got all
I had
four.
four.
Yeah.
I got all four. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
gotcha,
I could do a fifth. Yo, I did not expect
Yeah,
this.
me too. Now,
Yo, let me do. I can do another one.
You want to do
Let's
five?
do, yeah, let's do 5.
Okay.
Sure.
Sam Wilson Cap.
That's bullshit.
Yes.
Well, who
No,
would go
I-
next? Because I never went twice.
You're
It's-
not supposed
well,
to go twice. That's not how the snake
Oh,
works.
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the
the-
first
the-
and the last go twice because they start the next round.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't actually want Sam Wilson Cap.
Okay.
Who do I want?
I got a good one. Oh, I just thought of this one.
Dan says ultimate characters should not count. Do you guys agree with that?
I agree with that, but I would say the Maker is, like, I would say that's fine. I would say Miles is fine as well, because they've kind of supplanted that. Does that make sense?
And they're in our universe now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would never have questioned Miles.
Come on, Kel. I want to say mine. Come on, dude.
I'm gonna say Miss Marvel.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Miss Marvel, Carol.
Fuck. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, because Carol is. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my
Sean.
god.
Was that yours?
Yes, bro.
I got two. Let me
All right,
know.
so
Let
who would
Marcos.
be next?
No, you go, Sean.
Sean. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to really really think right now. So just bear with me.
Just say, Marco. I need your help.
Yeah, okay.
I got two. I got two locked and loaded, baby.
Oh, really?
Two in the chamber. Thinking of the third.
So tell me one.
I have one ready too.
I'll
Gray
steal it.
Hulk.
Gray Hulk is
Gray
actually
Hulk
Bruce
is
Hip- it's
Bruce Banner.
Yeah, it's the
But
same
it's,
one.
it's the same shit.
It's the same character.
All right, good. I wasted my least effective one.
It's not a waste. It wouldn't have ever counted.
The next one's good.
All right. I'm gonna take Sam Wilson Cap.
Mine is Madeline Pryor.
The Goblin.
Ooh, that is
literal clone.
a pull.
I was actually going to go somewhere similar. And I was going to go Rachel Gray, the other Phoenix.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That's it.
Dead Rising, good one.
Yeah, we could have done 6. At this
I was
not
thinking about
bad.
Kate Bishop as well, but I'm going power for once. I need to win this friggin' vote.
No. We could end it at 5. I don't have
Yeah.
another one.
All right. So these are our final lists. And frankly, I think all of these are strong. And I'm surprised by how good these are. Marco had Hobgoblin, Carnage, U.S. Agent, X-23, and Madeline Pryor. I had War Machine, Beta Ray Bill, Totally Awesome Hulk, The Maker, and Sam Wilson Cap. Tyler has The Mighty Thor, Red Hulk, Spider-Woman, Agent Venom, and Rachel Gray. And Kale got Ben Reilly, Bucky Cap, She-Hulk, Scott Lang Ant-Man, and Miss Marvel.
Carol Danvers. So you could say Captain Marvel,
Carol
really.
Danvers. Yeah.
Unless you just want the skimpier outfit, Cal.
Well, I said Ms. Marvel, and I made sure to change it real quick because originally I thought Kamala Khan, but then I went, wait, that's not who I want.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Captain Marvel. Yeah, absolutely.
What are some
Marco's
of
team is good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
I'm frankly surprised.
That team of villains, oof.
Did you guys
I'm
have any you were
jealous.
also thinking about? Like Dan mentions Young Avengers. Chillmonger, great point. Sam Alexander Nova.
Nova.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's one of my favorite characters too.
Yeah.
Great, another good McGinnis book. Read that book, Jeff Love McGinnis. All the Young Avengers, like So I was thinking Wiccan, but I think Wiccan's too original to say it's a Scarlet Witch clone,
Yeah, it's
just because it's her son. But I think
Well, but
Hulkling
if you-
would work. Kate Bishop, literally, it's the same title, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, Kate Bishop's fair game.
Kate Bishop, yeah.
Speed.
Speed is fair game.
Yeah, because that's Quicksilver. Yeah. Novar would have counted as another Marvel, but yeah.
Well, let's put up a poll, and real quick as we close and see what you guys think. Oh shoot, Spiral Storm, welcome.
What's up,
I'm
Spiral?
glad you checked out the live stream. Spiral is a member of our Discord, as you should be as well. You should join if you
Recently rejoined.
yeah. Yeah, so
We got a couple of we got one extra subscription in the Discord. Mad Bandit.
Hey,
welcome.
Just today. Yeah.
Welcome. So yeah, Tyler's getting that poll up. These drafts are a lot of fun. If you have a concept for a draft that we haven't done, that you would like to see us do, let us know. We love it. It's a lot of fun.
This was a good one.
Hell yeah.
Got mileage out of it.
Let's see. What other characters did we miss? Polaris.
Shuri is Black Panther.
Shuri. Okay, yeah, that's acceptable. But Polaris as an offshoot of who?
Magneto, I guess. They have a similar power set.
She feels unique enough to me.
I don't know enough about her origin to say that she would be a Magneto.
Isn't she a
Scar.
clone?
Scar
No.
would be one of them, I would feel.
Isn't Polaris a clone?
Yeah.
No, Polaris.
Never
not.
heard of her being a clone. She's Magneto's child.
The Crimson Dynamo. God, I love that name.
Iron Man,
Iron
right?
Man, right?
Iron Man. Yeah.
Guardian.
Absolutely.
There's
Oh.
plenty of Cap ones.
Ironmonger,
Yeah. Ironmonger, of course.
although not necessarily that strong, but yeah. Damn. Yeah, a lot of good ones. A lot of
Man.
good ones.
Marco's first one was Hobgoblin. That's the one that blew me away. That's the
I
one that
was-
really
I'm
opened
looking
the
at Green
floodgate
Goblin
for
right
me.
now. Yeah. There's tons of goblins too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
characters that spun out a lot. Like there's a lot of Ant-Men.
We could have said about 15 Spider Women.
Right. Yeah.
DC,
Tyler-
this is a good one for DC. DC's got a lot of legacy characters, so
Tyler got the poll up. Can we agree amongst ourselves to, if we're going to vote, not vote for ourselves?
I ain't touching it.
No, because I already did.
Oh, all right, well, vote for yourself.
The second I saw it, I put mine.
Then I guess we're voting
Sorry.
for ourselves. That's all right. Oh man, that's funny. All right. So as a reminder, of course, if you enjoyed the show today, if you had as much fun as we did, the fun doesn't stop here. It continues on our Discord server. It continues on patreon.com/thecomics where we're always giving you bang for your buck. We have a whole host of content on there that is exclusive there that you haven't seen if you're not on there. An exclusive show, a whole show that's up there. You get to vote in the book club poll. You get the newsletter access. You get a lot for, a few shekels of yours. We appreciate everybody who chooses to join us on Patreon. And if you haven't checked out the page, and if you're curious, all you have to do is give it a look. And we think you'll find a lot of value there. So thank you to those who have done that. If you want to watch this show live, it is every Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays for Pals Polls. The listener pick poll is up on Twitter, where you can vote if you would like to influence what we read for Pals Polls.
Dennis Culver definitely did.
What you mean? Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And just for you guys, because you guys are so great, I will tell you what we will be reading next week.
Oh,
Night Terrors #1, Fallen Friend Miss Marvel #1, Amazing Spider-Man #29, Immortal X-Men #13, and the winner of the poll, which is currently we have The Hunger in the Dusk #1 up there, Unstoppable Doom Patrol #4, Fish Flies #1, and World's Finest Teen Titans #1. So that's what Pals Polls is looking like.
I just got alerted to that nobody picked Spider-Ham.
There's a reason for that. I wish I had picked Spider-Man 2099. That was a fuck up.
Oh yeah. Spider-Man is not bagging the Miles' mom.
See, the thing is, if we do it with DC, everybody's gonna pick a Superman offshoot. It's gonna be the same characters, but they're just gonna be a different version.
I'm gonna pick all 5 Swamp Thing.
Then maybe the criteria for winner shouldn't be power. It should be what would you like to read.
Please.
That's kills Sean's whole game.
The criteria for me, the criteria is whatever the audience thinks. It's not. It's not anything in particular. I draft power because that's how I would judge it. But everyone should have their own scale. Yeah. Let's do some plugs. Kale, you're up.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Comics Pals. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, but I am not leaving Twitter. I will go down with that shit, and then I won't be anymore.
Are you on Threads?
No. Yes. You kidding me?
You have an Instagram. You could just click a button. You're on Threads.
My privacy has been invaded enough. You're fucking telling me we're gonna go from Elon Musk to Mark Zuckerberg, who has a longer list of war crimes?
I rather give my information to an alien who likes Sweet Baby Ray's.
Ooh, does he really?
Well, then I just go downstairs and give it to my wife. Like what?
Whoa! What are you giving to your wife?
Just like Sweet Baby Ray's?
You heard it here. Check out the Comics Pals OnlyFans. But apparently one of the new terms is you can't delete your Threads account without deleting your Instagram account.
You can deactivate it, but it's
a fucking nightmare.
Being worked on.
Yeah.
No, forget that. Twitter and Instagram at TotoInto. That's TOTOINTOW. You can find my work at KaleWard.com. That's KaleWard.com. I'm watching I'm a Virgo on Amazon Prime.
Oh, but you're married.
Listen, we've just never done it. A tremendous look at superhero show. If you like Extraordinary, which is on Disney Plus, it's sort of another take. It's a world where it seems like everybody has superpowers, but it comes at it from like a poor black neighborhood angle. It's about a kid who's born giant. I think he's something like 13 feet tall. And they do the effects in a really lo-fi way. So like they do, one of the cool things I saw was they do a speedster, and she's working in a burger restaurant, and she's making burgers. And what they do is they have her arms move around in different colored clothes, and they speed that section of her up, like her head is above a counter or whatever. They speed her arms up in all these different colored clothes to make it look like she's moving really fast. It's really cool. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it if you have Amazon Prime. Done by Boots Riley and the comic writer, creator of TKO, Sei Chun.
Oh, really?
Helped.
He makes a cameo.
Whoa.
Highly recommend.
What is it called again?
I'm a Virgo.
All right. Definitely check it out now.
Marco, you're up.
You can follow me at Mr. Marco Animoto on Instagram and Twitter. come talk to me about. I'm catching up on Nightwing, catching up on some Comixology stuff. I need to finish. I'm gonna finish Barnstormers because I thought that book was really, really good, and I have it downloaded on Comixology. Otherwise, yeah, come talk to me about that and whatever anime you're watching.
Tyler.
And thank you for giving me the win on the poll.
It's not done
Let's
yet.
Go. No,
Poll's
it's
still up,
definitely
guys.
done. No, hold
Once
on.
the plugs are done, that's when I'll announce who
You
won.
just cut it now.
You could follow me at the Tyler Olson on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. I am on Threads, and I'm probably a little too much on Threads, where you can see that I'm probably mentally hanging on a thread. It's very apparent
Well done.
on that platform. Yeah, so check me out there. You can talk about being horny on me, and I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about. Just do what you want. Oh, Sean just perked up. Threads, Sean, Threads. Oh, Comics Pals is also on Threads, so I'm using that to post some really weird, out of context comic book panels that I found on the internet. So
Also on the thread.
Unreal. If you haven't voted in the poll, you have a few more moments to do that. As I tell you that I am on Twitter and Instagram only at Sean Soapbox. I will be watching some UFC tonight. Very excited. I've been looking forward to that for weeks.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And outside of that, just chilling. So looking forward to next week. We will see you then. Love everybody that showed up today to watch live. Thank you all so much for doing that. Let's get a quick answer from Tyler on the poll. Who won?
So coming in last is Sean with 8%. Following up is me with 17. And second place, we have Mikel with 33 and Marco with 42%.
You know what's sad is that I know that 8% is from my own vote.
Did you divide it?
No,
I mean, I'm not
didn't.
going to do the math on that
I
one.
just
But
feel like that could be the
tracks.
only way. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. You guys made this a very special episode. We will see you next week. Until then, take care, guys.